Welcome to RFM Audio. This streaming audio broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. You are listening to RFM Audio on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. This broadcast will begin in 90 seconds. Welcome to RFM Audio. This streaming audio broadcast will begin in 1 minute. You are listening to RFM Audio on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. This broadcast will begin in 30 seconds. Welcome to RFM Audio. This streaming audio broadcast will begin in 10 seconds.
And that sound means it's time for our countdown to kickoff. We welcome you to Doyle Field in Leominster. A little delayed, but on the air nonetheless. Great to have you with us on a Friday night on RFM Audio. Week 6 high school football action here at Doyle Field tonight as Leominster brings their 4-1 overall record back to home field to host the Titans of Algonquin Regional, who bring a 1-4 overall record to the field here in Leominster tonight. Last 9 meetings between these two schools dating back to 2010. Leominster has an 8-1 advantage in the series, but Algonquin has the most recent series win last October the 15th, a 28-0 Algonquin victory over at Walsh Field in Northborough. That's the first win for Algonquin in 9 meetings, but also the last win in this series. Leominster's last win goes back to November the 15th of 2019, a 27-8 win for Leominster at Walsh Field in Northborough. So that's where the series lies, and these two teams have had very different years. Leominster's coming off their first loss of the season last week in Week 5 action at Peabody, a 42-0 win for a 42-20 win for Peabody in that action in Week 5 action. Leominster, meanwhile, prior to that, 4 straight victories to open the season, the first loss against Peabody last week. Meanwhile, Algonquin opened the season with a 20-0 win over Doherty at home, and then have fallen 4 straight times. On the road at Hopkinton, the notable one against Catholic Memorial at home, a 46-0 loss. Right here on RFM Audio at Shrewsbury, a 28-0 loss in Week 4 action on a Saturday night, and then a 22-9 loss against Shepherd Hill at home last Friday night. They bring that 1-4 overall record in, but had an opportunity to trade emails this week with Algonquin coach Mark Allen, provide some context to where this Titan team is at this point coming in to Week 6 action. We'll have that for you as we set the table. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins in. You are countdown to kickoff. 6:24 on a Friday night, 36 minutes to the top of the hour, and we've got Leominster and Algonquin for you here on RFM Audio. And with our partners at Leominster TV, will join us at 6:30 when we'll reestablish the broadcast, and then we will be right back around with you. Also with our partners in delay, 95.1 FM, WLPZ and WLPZ.org, and Tucka56radio.com, TUCKA56radio.com, and Tucka56 Radio on Live 365. That's all the places to play. Todd Robbins with Bill Thomas. Kate Robbins is back at RFM HQ, and great to have you with us on a Friday night. Bill Thomas, first thoughts, Leominster and Algonquin tonight.
Well, I guess right off the bat, you got to hope and think that Leominster is going to bounce back after a tough loss last week, a really strong Peabody team, and I think they exposed some problem areas for Leominster that I'm quite sure the coaches are working on this week, but expect to see some changes maybe in the offensive philosophy and just a little more cohesiveness going forward. But if not for anything else, I think last week was a good learning experience for a relatively veteran Leominster team, but has some key freshman personnel that I think it was a good game for them. If you're going to stub your toe, get it over with now.
Absolutely. And you know, you play out the season, right? You get the schedule, and you start looking down the line. And, of course, coaching staff and players can't work this way, but broadcasters, this is what we do. We sit here and schematic out how the season is going, right? And so, you know, being 4-0 through 4 weeks, probably better than I think a lot of people would have predicted for this Leominster team. Now you get to Peabody and you go, yeah, like it or not, you knew this was going to be an incredibly difficult team. Leominster certainly has demonstrated through the first 4 weeks to have more weapons than they have previously had. But you got to say, okay, Peabody, potentially a loss. Algonquin, another 50-50 game potentially. And then a tough game against Wachusett and Shrewsbury to close out the first 8 weeks. That's where you are preseason before you get into this point. Now Leominster rips off those first 4 wins and blank 2 teams in the process, and a quality Doherty and a quality Neshoba team who maybe are having down campaigns in 2022, and all of a sudden you think the sky's the limit. Bring on all comers. And here we are through 5 weeks. It's 4 wins for Leominster, the 1 loss to Peabody. But again, playoff-wise, no worse, no better. They've played 5 weeks. They've won 4. They've lost 1. Bill Thomas, all in all, you got to take it through the first 5 weeks.
Oh, for sure, Todd. You know, and we kicked around all the possibilities, like you said. You look at the schedule, you're like, all right, you know, 50-50. You know, hopefully this is a win. This is going to be a tough game. And through the first 4, 2-2 is really, I think, was a really optimistic outlook. And to go 4-0 and, you know, and then to have Peabody come up. But if you had gone 2-2 or 1-3 and then looking at that really tough Peabody game, everybody's mindset would have been different. But to open the season the way the Blue Devils did, come out of the chute 4-0, just going into that Peabody game, yeah, you know they're a tough team. You shouldn't approach it any differently. But I think the mindset was different, that the game had a sense of urgency, but in big picture, it wasn't as important as it could have been if you would come out of the gate slow. So I think that I would look at it as a building experience, not a season-turning game, but a game that possibly you can build on. And down the road, Peabody could be an opponent again in the second or third round of the playoffs if the Blue Devils happen to be that fortunate. And, you know, so that Peabody team could be standing in the way, and hopefully the Blue Devils learn something from this early season matchup.
And we predicted off the power ratings last week that Peabody, who was in the 3 slot going into that Week 5 action, would move up. That certainly did happen. I thought they would contest for the 1. I got to tell you, Bill Thomas, I want to know who Milford's been playing, because they are like bronzed in this 1 spot out of the Hockomock League now, and that's a former Midwatch team back in the day, but they are bronzed into that top spot with a full 14 points that they've collected, plus an almost 10.5 opponent rating for a total rating of 24.5 points. I mean, it's an incredible number that people are chasing. I thought Peabody would move up in the process. They certainly did. They moved from 3 to 2. But I still think, you know, that is a quality Peabody team that will be campaigning for that number 1 overall seed in Division 2. Leominster started last week 9th. After the loss, they dropped 3 spots to 12th, which I think might be a little bit, to me, I think, They weren't able to get within that 14-point margin, so they fell back in the process to 8.4 is their overall rating. Their average margin rating. Their opponent rating, though, came 4 points to the good. It went from a negative number to a positive number of 2.2, so that brings them to 10.6 or a little over 10.5 overall rating, which has put them in a much better circumstance than they were, at least, few weeks ago talking about the opponent rating, but they dropped back 3 spots, and so here they are now sitting at 12th, still well above that 16 cut line. So all in all, in a decent situation. But again, a situation where Bill Thomas Leominster falls down with the loss, Peabody moves up, and then there's Algonquin coming into the night 28th in Division 2, that 1-4, a negative overall number. But speaking to the quality of the schedule that they have played, their power rating is actually, their opponent rating, is actually better than Leominster's at almost 4, 3.8. If you were to go to the second place and round up, you would end up with a 3.9 power rating, a negative number only because their power rating, their own margin is down given the 4 losses that they've had to this point.
We try to gazintas and siphon the math, and you look at it and Leominster had a negative number on the opponent rating side. Of course, they played really strong. So that turned around to a positive number. Their positive number drops, and they, we thought it might affect their position, but we didn't think it was going to affect them that much. And as it turned out, it didn't. And it actually, I think, has put them in a better position now to build on their own power numbers going forward. But we'll have to see. Once again, the math is the math. They've got their minimum of 3 wins, but you look at the standings right now. Out of the 16 teams that are in the top of the bracket, there, 14 of them have 500 or better records. So I don't think, that 3-win threshold is going to be a real sticking point. You're going to see a lot of 5- and 6-win teams before the end of the season in this top 16 in this Division II section of football here for Massachusetts.
I think you're right on, Bill Thomas. I think there's going to be a muddled picture here in Division II, at least in those spots 10 down to 16. It's going to be a cloudy picture, but some people are going to make it. You keep winning. You control your own destiny.
I talked to people that said Leominster because of their schedule, and they might not even make the playoffs no matter what their record is. I think to prove that that's a misnomer, that if you win, I think Algonquin was the outlier, and, I don't know if we'll ever see that again, but I think you win, you take care of business, and really the system's going to take care of itself.
29 minutes to the top of the hour. We've got Leominster and Algonquin for you here on RFM Audio on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, and with our partners at Leominster TV. We're going to go around the region with Kate Robbins, get the marquee matchup for tonight. We'll also go inside the headset from long distance, as the case may be. I'm going to read some minds and amalgamate some things. We'll have the starting lineups in their own voices and the coin toss all coming up as we continue our countdown to Leominster and Algonquin. We step aside. When we come back, our viewers from Leominster TV join us as well, and we count you down to Leominster and Algonquin coming up with a scheduled 7 o'clock kickoff. You are listening to High School Football on RFM Audio.
The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association is committed to good sportsmanship. Sportsmanship, citizenship, and responsibility are the trademarks of high school activities. Support school activities with your own display of good sportsmanship and help encourage America's youth to accept the responsibility which freedom demands. Support your local high school. See the future of America on display. Attend high school competitions in your community. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, building the future through educational athletics.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Massachusetts, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Tradition, legacy, history. These words all describe a player, coach, or contributor's impact on a game, program, or generation. Each week this season, student athletes of this generation will square off with the goal of best representing their community today or for years to come.
Neil O'Connor finds Jake Elaine.
Alan Glennie quarterbacks his ball club.
Ducky eyes in the end zone. And calling signals, Dave Palazzi.
John Ulecki.
Warren Muir.
LeQueer.
Jack Rodequins.
Bobby Mativier.
Jason Toomley.
Devin Gates.
Quentin Tiggs.
Cortez Ludden.
Lee Geronimo.
Stephanides.
Sean Dupuis.
McDonald.
Graham.
Quentin Perkins. Geraldo Rivera.
Gray makes the catch in the end zone for the touchdown.
Who will have their name weaved among the tapestry of legends? Who can add their name among the football greatest in Central Massachusetts? You'll find out right here on RFM. Continuing a legacy and tradition of audio excellence established by generations of great play-by-play teams gone before.
Yours truly, Tom Connery, Dave Spence, and Warren Muir.
This is Joe White. With me this morning is Dickie and Ron Lamont.
Ed Coleman along with Joe DeCarolis and Mark Landon.
This is Dave Clark along with Mike Flynn.
I'm Dave Spence along with my partner Luke Connery.
Todd Robbins alongside Ben Parker.
Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have you along with us.
Stories told through the words spun by legends. The stories continue to be described by the award-winning team of today. It's time for high school football with the award-winning team of Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, and Kate Robbins.
From historic Doyle Field in Leominster, we say a very good evening, everyone, and welcome to Week 6 high school football action here on RFM Audio and with our partners at Leominster TV. Good evening, everyone, wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch, or joining us via Leominster TV on the channels of Comcast, Verizon, or streaming at Leominster.TV. Todd Robbins alongside Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins back at RFM HQ, and great to have you along with us as we get ready for Week 6 action. Leominster plays host to Algonquin. The Blue Devils, a 4-1 overall record, reeling off of a 42-20 loss to Peabody last week. Meanwhile, Algonquin, a 1-4 overall record, a win in week number 1 against a good Doherty team by a 20-0 score, and then 4 straight losses. And an Algonquin team that is struggling with injuries. We'll have all that information for you and set the table as we work our way closer and closer to kickoff. Bill Thomas, certainly far more injuries on the Algonquin side of the slate than we knew when we saw Algonquin when they played Shrewsbury back in week 4 on a Saturday night.
Yeah, we knew they were struggling against Shrewsbury a couple weeks ago, and they came out of that game worse off than they went in. We saw them lose their second-string quarterback early on, and then some other key injuries in that game. I believe they had a running back go down and also a couple of key defensive players. So they've really been struggling with second and third level players from where they started the season at, but they continue to battle, and the coach said they're going to continue to fight on the field and put their best foot forward and battle through these injuries, and they're not giving up by no means.
And they're continuing to grow each and every week. We'll have some particulars for you as we go inside the headset with Algonquin coach Mark Allen coming up. But first, I'm going to kick it back to RFM HQ. Kate Robbins is standing by. Kate, you haven't had a chance to chime in yet. Leominster and Algonquin coming up here. And then you're going to take us on a trip around the region as well as introduce the old marquee matchup as well, Kate.
Good evening, gentlemen. Looks like it's a nice, crisp autumn evening out there at historic Doyle Field. So happy to be joining you on this one. I know that you guys have been talking about it. Algonquin right now, the walking wounded coming into this, but a lot of heart on that Titans team, and so they're going to be clawing their way through this one to try to make sure that Leominster does not get a bounce-back victory from their loss to Peabody last week.
No question about that, Kate, and that is going to be the question. You know, can Leominster overcome this loss? Certainly evidence through the first 4 weeks says absolutely. And meanwhile, for Algonquin, can they find that thing? What is going to be that thing that disrupts what Leominster wants to do? Peabody certainly found it with a combination of things we'll talk about in our marquee matchup, but at the end of the day, if Peabody can find, if Algonquin can find what Peabody did and disrupt what Leominster wants to do, it could very quickly become anybody's football game. We'll see what direction things go. But, Kate, it is a busy Friday night and on into a busy high school football weekend. Take us on a trip around the region tonight.
All right, let's first take a look at Friday, October the 14th. That is this evening. I can tell you we do have a score already coming in, a second quarter score. Shrewsbury right now on top of Grafton, undefeated Grafton at this point in time. 6-0 Shrewsbury on top of Grafton. Grafton, mind you, in the Division 4 football power rankings, seated at number 4 at 5-0 thus far. So Shrewsbury, close is Grafton, but right now Shrewsbury on top. If we take a look at the Catholic Conference, St. John's of Shrewsbury heads out to BC High tonight. BC High winless, I believe, thus far this season. In the Colonial League, Quabog takes on Abbey Kelly. Worcester Tech heads to Auburn. Blackstone Valley Tech is at Northbridge tonight. Assabet Valley is at Bay Path. Go Aztecs. St. Paul heads to Monty Tech tonight as well. That was a 6 p.m. start, so we should be getting updates from them sooner rather than later. Doherty and South facing off at Foley Stadium tonight. Oh, actually, no, because Bartlett and Worcester North are at Foley Stadium tonight. So Doherty taking on South elsewhere this evening. Shepherd Hill is at Wachusett. Westboro heads to Fitchburg tonight. Neshoba is at Marlboro. Groton Dunstable heads to Oakmont. North Middlesex is at Maynard. Littleton is at Tingsboro. West Boylston heads to Oxford. Narragansett is at Air Shirley tonight. Gardner is at Southbridge. Tantasqua heads to Hudson. Murdoch is at Smith Voke. Clinton is at Lunenburg. For the Saturday slate around the region, Nipmuc heads to Blackstone, Millville, Hopedale. That's a noontime kick. St. Bernard's is at Sutton. That's a 2:30 p.m. kick tomorrow. Burncoat is at Uxbridge at a 1 p.m. kickoff. And Millbury heads to Leicester for a 6 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. And that is your initial whip around the region for this week 6 of action, Todd.
All right, Kate, thank you so much. It would not surprise me to find out that in the, alignment down at Foley Stadium that they played a double header tonight. They may have just shifted a start time in order to make that work. Kate, while we've got you here, you and Bill Thomas can introduce our marquee matchup for this battle of Leominster and Algonquin coming up at the top of the hour.
Alrighty, let's take a look at that marquee matchup right off the bat. So we know that Algonquin is struggling a little bit this season, particularly with significant injuries in a lot of their marquee positions. Leominster coming off of that loss to Peabody. So the marquee matchup tonight is as follows. Leominster's quarterback Osiris Lopez has picked apart secondaries with a talented receiver core. However, Shepherd Hill and Peabody both proved that with the right combination of pass coverage and pressure up front, a voracious defense can force Lopez to throw into coverage and create turnover opportunities. Can he maintain his discipline as a freshman and in turn the torrid pace of Leominster's offense? How does he handle the pressure and placement of throws? That will be key. Forcing passes could create opportunities that Algonquin needs. Bill Thomas, turnovers have become a bugaboo for this Leominster offense in the last few weeks.
Yeah, Kate, you're spot on with that. The turnovers have become a problem, but never more so than last week. And I think a lot of it led to that direct pressure that the PBD front four, front five, bringing extra pressure. We're putting on Osiris Lopez. And once they got him out of the pocket and scrambled a little bit, I think they exposed him to his inexperience under that kind of pressure and got him throwing up some costly balls under the run. And if you look at the turnovers, interceptions, I'd be willing to guess majority of those were on 50-50 balls that he was under pressure, and he kind of threw up what I refer to as a hope and a prayer. And the first four games of the year, they were coming down with those probably at about a 50, 60, 70% clip, so they were paying off, but not so against Peabody. And, they were ready for that. And as soon as they got Osiris off his spot, they started putting the coverage down deep. And, I think maybe some adjustment from the coaching staff might be look underneath, look for your crosses, and I think that's maybe what Osiris Lopez needs to work on is don't immediately look deep, but when you're running lateral, look for your teammates that are running a lateral with you, continue to look underneath, continue to make a productive play. And, and I think some of that's going to have to come from the front four, front five of the Leominster Blue Devils offensive line is give Osiris that little extra time to set himself and make good decisions. And PB showed that he can put off that spot last week.
And you're absolutely right about that, Bill Thomas. It's going to be incumbent upon Osiris Lopez and the rest of Leominster's offense to continue to make strides. I mean, he came out and he was electric, and the entire offense has been electric all season long. But they have proven that they are human here as the season continues. And as you get into the teeth of their schedule, particularly when they go up against Shrewsbury and then they go up against Wachusett, that could prove to be costly for them. So they're going to need to clean that up as they move forward. So I assume that Todd is still with us. I doubt that he was able to make it down to the field. So Billy, am I throwing this back to Todd?
Indeed you are. Thank you so much, Kate. Yes, unfortunately, warm-ups ended long before we solved those technical incidents. So.
I thought they might have. Can you help us out with one thing? We got some blinking lights across the field on the broadcast, and it looks like either an alien invasion behind Dick Tucker's press box or that there's a video board. What's going on over there across the field?
It is a local Leominster PD police cruiser that has its lights on, sort of in one of those like construction site patterns, just kind of warning that they're there. It's mostly solid with the occasional flicker.
I was worried about Dick Tucker. I'm not going to lie to you. I see him right behind him, and I'm like, they're going to steal him away. He's 44 years, and he's going to get abducted on the opposite sideline.
The interesting part is that looking across the field, I can see no evidence of anybody there. There is a significant detail around. If only there was a former police captain around that could tell us why there was a police car nearby. You just never know who might be around that could get you this information. But as the turn may be, for whatever reason, it's a police cruiser on a detail over on the far side, Kate.
All right. Well, if you find any retired police captains, just lying around anywhere, feel free to let him give you the answer to that.
I certainly will, as the case may be. Thank you, Kate. We'll check in with you as we get closer to kickoff. Stand by back in Studio P at RFM HQ. That's Kate Robbins, Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, and Kate Robbins along with you here on Leominster TV and RFM Audio. Great to have you along with us. As Kate alluded to, we had some technical difficulties that kept me up here on press row. Bill Thomas wasn't able to go down, speak to Leominster High School head coach Devin Gates, but of course we had a great edition of the Coach's Corner this week to set things up. So we're going to go inside the headset, but we're going to do it via email. Got a great email here from Algonquin head coach Mark Allen. Want to share his thoughts. So here as we go inside the headset, this is Algonquin regional coach Mark Allen. Had a conversation with him back and forth via email. First about injuries, because clearly, and I had said this on the broadcast when we had Algonquin and Shrewsbury a couple of weeks back in week 4 action, that something just wasn't the same in the Algonquin team that was at Adams Memorial Field at Shrewsbury High School and the team that I saw on game film prior to that. I'm like, there's just something that's not right about this in the grand scheme of things. So here are our answers. So Coach Allen says of his injuries, he says that his team has, quote, definitely been impacted by numerous injuries across the board, starting with Paul Ramos, who suffered a pretty bad injury in week 2 with a dislocated knee that is season-ending and possibly career-ending for running back Paul Ramos. Some things transcend football, and seeing the way that our team has rallied around Paul in support of him, but also for each other, has been extremely impressive to see, says Coach Allen. In the same game in week 2, this was against Hopkinton, they lost their starting quarterback in Brendan Pemberton to a broken collarbone. That has also impacted the team going forward. Pemberton brought a third dimension to our offense that we are continuing to work toward with different personnel. Senior Matt Uzar, who we saw as the starting quarterback against Shrewsbury, was a running back moved to quarterback to take over those duties, but suffered a season-ending injury during the Week 4 matchup with Shrewsbury. Sophomore Will Mahoney stepped into quarterback that night. He will continue. Owen Ellsworth, the running back, will split snaps with Mahoney as another running back in the quarterback position, who have stepped up over the last couple of weeks to share the quarterback duties. Coach Allen says of Mahoney and Ellsworth, they are very impressed with how they have handled themselves, but in terms of managing a game, but also in how they've prepared and performed given the circumstances. And Coach goes on to say, we have a lot of running backs who have stepped up and shared the workload, with Ramos being out. Senior Patrick Hanlon, senior Dylan Terra, and sophomore Owen Ellsworth are sharing the load at running back. Sophomores Kelvin Crisso and Alex Frive will work into that rotation. According to Coach Allen, they have a total of 8 season-ending injuries that are impacting the Titans on that side of the field. And Bill Thomas, before I go further, your thoughts on what Coach Allen kind of provides for context for his team through the first 5 weeks.
Well, he's definitely shown some, the struggles that they've had on the field and keeping people healthy. And injuries is something you can't predict. And And when you talk about having to move your running back to quarterback and then having to move somebody else into that position and continue to backfill, you don't have your key personnel where you had them penciled in, your depth chart to start the season. Now you're mixing and matching, and you're just trying to cover the squares basically right now. But his team's doing a great job. But, when I think what's going to end up happening is that they become predictable. When you're down to your third-string quarterback, I imagine one of the first things you're going to lose is your passing game. So, we're going to have to see how that works out, if it's something that the Blue Devils defense can key on, if Algonquin's going to be a purely 3 yards in a cloud of dust tonight because, of the quarterback situation, sophomore quarterback, young quarterback, splitting the duties with a running back. We might see some wildcat, direct snaps tonight. Nonetheless, we're going to see a fight put up by Algonquin. We know that. They fought to the last whistle against Shrewsbury, even though they were greatly undermanned during that game and having to mix and match the chess pieces. They've had a couple of weeks to work on filling the holes with their injuries and getting some reps with the players in their new positions, getting them familiar with new positions. Just because you might be a great running back doesn't mean it's going to make you a great quarterback. Different mindset.
Absolutely.
And you can't just step in and fill these roles. You're looking around. Now you're thinking about, different goals about what your role is. So, even at the pro level, these type players are not plug and play. And the challenge that Coach Allen has had has been great, but I think he's doing as great of a job handling them, keeping his kids engaged, and for nothing else, they're not lacking enthusiasm. And they'll come to play tonight for sure. And Leominster better be ready because they might surprise them with a play or two that Leominster might not have seen coming tonight.
And this is a tough Algonquin team that was expected to be a playoff entity in 2022 who is battling their way through the season. Coach Allen went on to say, as we continue inside the headset, that for Week 5 against Shepherd Hill, it came down to one or two big plays that Shepherd Hill made instead of Algonquin in this case. He said it was a close physical game, and he is proud of the way his team competed throughout and never quit. Going forward, and this is going to sound awfully familiar because I made a comment to the very same effect on the Coach's Corner this week when I was talking to Coach Devin Gates, and he actually said that he thought it was a really great comparison. I said that, this Algonquin team is like a wounded animal backed into a corner and just waiting for somebody to come too close and to lash out. Coach Allen said in an email, going forward, our team is like an animal backed into a corner. Similar sounding language there. I don't know who wrote it for him.
Well, it's coach think and coach speak because, when you're 4-1 and the other team's 1-4, they got a little bit of animalistic tendencies. They're trying to fight their way out of that dead-end cave or that corner. So totally understandable from both sides.
And Coach Allen says the only way out of this corner is to fight. And that is their plan. He doesn't think that his overall record, that the Algonquin 1-4 record, is indicative of how good a team we are and can be. Even with the number of injuries that have added up, we are a dangerous team when we piece it all together. He knows Leominster is going to be another tough game. He has a lot of respect for Coach Gates and says he does a great job with the program, and we're going to have to play extremely well, that is Algonquin, to beat Leominster tonight. And then he says the environment at Doyle Field, as always, will be extremely difficult to play in, but also a great experience at the same time, with it being one of the premier facilities in our area, if not our state. This is Coach Mark Allen of Algonquin. I will add and conclude our Inside the Headset with the following. Here were Coach Allen's keys to an Algonquin victory tonight. Finish offensive drives, create turnovers, don't give up the big play. Those are the things that Coach Allen said he is going to need from his players in order to win this football game tonight.
Well, especially when it comes to finish off offensive drives because, not only create turnovers but limit turnovers. And, that includes turnovers on downs. We've seen a number of those, in high school football. You tend to go for it. You get on the opponent's side of the 40 and, you continue to try to push down the field. So you got to limit those turnover on downs, try to control that field position and get your own turnover too. But I think it's really going to start with Algonquin. If they can get some pressure on Osiris Lopez tonight, get him off his spot and have some of that same success that PVD had last week, I think that's what they might be keying on.
Time now for the starting lineups, and in their own voices, let's meet Leominster's offensive starters for Week 6 action.
Cyrus Lopez, number 9, freshman, quarterback.
Braden Martin, number 46, junior, running back.
Rick Encarnacion, 0, senior, receiver.
Brian Aguilar, number 1, senior, wide receiver.
Caden Drinkwater, number 8, freshman, wide receiver.
Joshua Cormier, 44, senior, H-back.
Logan Arcee, number 54, senior, left tackle.
Delmar Wright, number 52, senior, offensive line.
John Escabi, 56, senior, center, captain.
Corin Sullivan, number 73, senior, offensive guard.
Tony Kendall, number 69, junior, offensive tackle.
And that is the Leominster offensive lineup, and that is not a misprint or a missed announcement there. Ricky Encarnacion is back in the lineup tonight for Leominster and will start on both sides of the football. We'll hear the 4-3 Leominster defense in a moment. But that Leominster offense that just introduced themselves to you will be matched up against Algonquin's 4-4 defensive front. The defensive line, Jordan Lopez, Jordy Peguara, Josh Colburn, Brendan Stoughton. The linebacking core, Natolo Magliolino, Brian Toussaint, Aiden Callaghan, and Sean Desmond. The defensive backs, Chris Adrianson, Brandon Pemberton, out. Still a spot to be filled there. And Patrick Hanlon. Look for Dylan Poirier and Cyan Zhang to step up in that starting spot in place of Pemberton in the defensive backfield. Meanwhile, let's go to the other side of the football. Algonquin's multi-front offense looks like this. Left side of the line protected by John Valentine and Josh Colburn. The right side protected by Dominic Fraliciardi and Kaz Conway. The center, Bill Thomas, is an undetermined position at this point in time. There'll be some rotating by committee in that position. The tight end is Natolo Magliolino. The wide receiver, Chris Adrianson. The running backs, Dylan Terra, Patrick Hanlon, and Owen Ellsworth, who will split time at quarterback. The starting quarterback will be the sophomore Will Mahoney, the third down the depth chart with the injuries to Brandon Pemberton and Matt Uzar. Mahoney has been tested over a couple of games. He'll get tested again tonight by Leominster's 4-3 defense, who will introduce themselves in their own voices.
John Escabi, 56, senior, D-end, captain.
Giovanni Roman, 55, senior, defensive line.
Logan Arcee, number 54, senior, D tackle.
Delmar Wright, number 52, senior, defensive line.
Keegan Umar, senior, number 16, junior, linebacker.
Xavier Cora, number 5, sophomore, linebacker.
Joshua Cormier, 44, senior, linebacker.
Brian Aguilar, number 1, senior, cornerback.
Steven Diaz, 11, senior, cornerback. Jared Viola, number 3, senior, safety.
Rick Encarnacion, 0, senior, safety.
And that's the Leominster defense in their 4-3 alignment, who will start tonight. For Leominster, game time decision, Mackay Newton. He will be available to play, but will not start tonight for Leominster. That means Keegan Amarasinger will get the start on the defensive side of the ball, which you heard moments ago in the linebacking core, and on the offensive side of the football. That means that you will see yet another start for the running back, Braden Martin, who will get the start for Leominster out of the backfield, which you also heard introduce himself in the starting lineup. And Bill Thomas, although Newton has not been available, Encarnacion being back in all three phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, huge for Leominster tonight. But again, we also got to talk about absent Newton. Leominster's been doing a excellent job as the Blue Devils see the smoke, and here they come out of the tunnel. Here come the Blue Devils. Right to left, angled across Doyle Field's turf from the tunnel and all the way down to the far left corner of the field in front of the student section, led by their captains, the American flag, and a Leominster flag as well for the program. Cheerleaders in tow as they created the tunnel extension, and on down across the field they go to their position down in the lower left, and played, of course, in by the Leominster High School marching band. Bill Thomas, you can pick it up from that.
Yeah, I mean, great sight here. I love the view coming out the tunnel, and the cheerleaders sporting the pink T-shirts tonight, painting the park pink for October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Todd and I both rocking different versions of our own pink up here, and we'll see it smattered throughout the players' uniform tonight. But yeah, great night, as I like to say. Chamber of Commerce weather tonight, and if you told me it was going to be like this last night or even this morning, I might have doubted your weather procrastinating abilities, but it's a great night for football. Expecting a great game.
And no question about it, a beautiful night for high school football. And after 24 hours plus of just wet, soggy weather, it is a great night for action, and everything has dried quite nicely there. So not expecting any factors as it relates to the water in tonight's contest. Captains on both sides getting ready to head toward midfield, and we'll get to our coin toss in a matter of moments. But it's great to have you along with us wherever you are. Facebook, YouTube, Facebook Live, YouTube, or Twitch, or with our partners at Leominster TV Live tonight here from Doyle Field, the channels of Comcast, Verizon, and Leominster.TV. Looking forward to a dandy. The 4-1 Blue Devils, the 1-4 Titans, Leominster and Algonquin clash next. The captains head to midfield to meet with our officiating crew. And Bill Thomas, as the captains head to midfield, it's your time of night. It's time for the coin toss. And Bill Thomas.
Well, I wish I was down there. I'm kind of keeping an eye on things, exchanging pleasantries. You know, had that first taste of some different technology, but circumstances prohibiting that tonight. I tell you, there's nothing like being down on the field. You experienced it.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago when we were at Shrewsbury, you were down there. Or I think actually over at Shepherd Hill, but you were mingling pregame and just having a ball down there. Looks like Leominster has won the coin toss. They've Nope. All right. Algonquin has won the coin toss. They're deferring. Leominster is going to receive the opening kickoff, and they will be defending the end zone 2-hour right. Let's play some football.
All right, Bill Thomas, and an important night, of course. Leominster's game the last 2 weeks, they have failed to score first after scoring first in their first 3 contests of the year. Shepherd Hill, of course, they battled back and won the football game. Peabody, it was Peabody from the gate to wire in that football game. So what is the destiny for tonight? We're going to find out. Leominster and Algonquin kickoff coming up right here on RFM Audio and Leominster TV, and in delay at 95.1 FM, WLPZ, and WLPZ.org, and Tucka 56 Radio, and Tucka56Radio.com. With that, we are going to join the public address announcer, Dick Tucker, here inside Doyle Field, and then the marching band under the direction of Bob Bergeron for tonight's national anthem. The Marching Blue Devils under the direction of band director Bob Bergeron tonight with our national anthem. And with that, we are ready for high school football. Week 6 of action. Leominster and Algonquin for you here at Doyle Field tonight. And Bill Thomas, as the teams get ready to send their special team units onto the field, we are getting closer and closer to the play-by-play.
And you are listening to Leominster High School Football from RFM Audio on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. It's time for our signature play-by-play. Now with the call of the game, the voice of the Blue Devils, Todd Robbins.
All right, Bill Thomas, thank you so very much. And away we get ready to go. Ball gets set to be placed down on the tee, 40-yard line at our left, as Algonquin will be kicking from left to right or Morton Street to upper field, for those of you familiar with the Doyle Field alignment. Algonquin ready to kick. Josh Colburn on the approach. He'll swing the right leg, end over end. He will send this one skidding across the 20-yard line. It'll be fielded on the one hop by Ricky Encarnacion at the 17-yard line. And boy, was he looking forward to getting a hold of the football. Couple of spin moves, lost a few pieces. I believe that was a hand warmer, but it's a 6-yard return across the 20 to the 22. But more importantly, welcome back Ricky Encarnacion, and happy birthday. 18 today for Ricky Encarnacion.
Yeah, and the first touch of the game, and I'm sure he couldn't wait for that opening kickoff to end up in his hands. And some shifty moves there. Not a lot of yards, but I think he left half his shirt on the playing field there on that first touch. But I have to see what he brings to the offense.
As they say, who needs it, Bill Thomas?
I tell you, he was sorely missed last week on the offensive side and defensive side, both.
1st and 10, Leominster, their own 22-yard line coming right to left. Osiris Lopez takes the first snap, back to pass on 3 steps, looks left and throws, complete to Caden Drinkwater, across the 25 and out of bounds at the 29-yard line, gains 8 on a quick pitch and catch. Get everybody comfortable and moving forward here. Just 15 seconds into this one, no score, Leominster and Algonquin here on RFM Audio and Leominster TV.
Yeah, I think that's where the Leominster offense needs to look early. Let's get a little continuity going here and just get some rhythm.
Call it a gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Ball at the Leominster 29. Shotgun snap. The give goes inside. It appeared to be Braden Martin on the carry. Check it. It was Mackay Newton, Bill Thomas, who gets the carry. First carry of the night. No gain on the play, or little to no gain, we'll call it, as the ball may be a little closer to that 30-yard line. 3rd down and a short 3 coming up.
Yeah, I believe Mackay got the start last week. He played sparingly, though. I don't know if he aggravated that lower body injury he's been nursing, but good to see him out there on the field.
3rd down, short 3 to go. Shotgun set, 3 receivers in the formation. Lopez asks for the ball, looks out to the right. Wide receiver screen complete to the slot man Encarnacion. Sheds a defender across the 30 and angled toward the 35. Stepping out of bounds with a gain of 7 and a Leominster first down. The drive continues.
I tell you, is there any harder play at a tackle in Central Mass than Ricky Encarnacion? 3-4 attempts at getting him down. Hit before he got to the line of scrimmage. Found some way to battle his way to that first down.
6'2", 180 pounds for the senior all-everything Ricky Encarnacion, a 3-way player for the Blue Devils. 4 receiver set, trips into the boundary right. Lopez asks for the ball, rolls to his left and throws. A little shot put over the middle. It's long of Encarnacion and incomplete.
But I like what I saw there, Todd. Exactly what we talked about pregame. We saw Osiris get flushed out of the pocket, but not immediately go deep and lob that 50-50 ball. He actually looked for a crosser that was running with him. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that's something the coaches stressed this week. Don't panic and look for somebody running with you, because your plays will help you out in that situation.
Leominster wearing the home royal blue tops, white bottoms, trimmed in royal blue. White trim at the shoulders on the jersey. White numerals front and back. Blue Devils across the chest. The classic Leominster white helmet with the single royal blue stripe and white face masks. 2nd down and 10 to go. The handoff on the delay went up the middle on the play. Newton again advances the football toward the Leominster 39-yard line. Gain of about 4 on the play. 3rd down and 6. And as Bill Thomas alluded to a little while ago, a smattering of pink in those Leominster uniforms. Likewise for Algonquin in honor of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as we see tight end Josh Cormier come over to the sideline. He's got the half a sock, if you will, Bill Thomas, in that pink, with the hot pink gloves as well. The wide receiver gloves comes into the sideline. 3rd down and a long 6 to go. Shotgun set, trips to the left. Lopez back to pass, tries to step up in the pocket. He's riffing now. He's in the grasp. He will wing this one long, looking for Drinkwater. And Drinkwater, Bill Thomas, did a great job to track that one in the air, get in the neighborhood to make it an incomplete pass.
And that was the key right there. Nobody in the neighborhood when that ball went up by Drinkwater. Good job trying to track that down, avoid that flag for grounding, and cost him another 5 yards here. But it looks like punt team's coming out, and Blue Devils had a chance to try to get on the board first. Algonquin gets them off the field. Have to see what they can do if they can hold on to possession off this punt.
Jared Viola back in punt formation for Leominster. Stands back at the 27-yard line, his own swinging door in front of him. Gunners will move out. The snap. Viola gets it clean. Punt is away. It is a high wobbler, angling from right to left. It will hit at the 37-yard line and check up right around the Titan 36. Got a lot of height there, Bill Thomas, but not much else.
Yeah, about 27, 28 yards net out of that. Not too bad at the high school level. No return, which is important.
Check of the time, temperature, and game time forecast. Coming up as Algonquin comes out. First down and 10, their own 36-yard line at left hash, coming left to right. Ellsworth gets the start at quarterback officially. He'll take the direct snap, and he will race the ball out to the left edge. Cross the 35-yard line and angled out of bounds at the 36, maybe the 37. Gain of about a yard. It will be 2nd down and 9. Will Mahoney, you would say, Bill Thomas, is a more prototypical pocket passer. Got a little bit of movement, working on the arm strength as a sophomore. Ellsworth is more of a busting fullback, but he is going to be a wildcat play-busting quarterback tonight.
Yeah, I think whenever you see him back there, you pretty much got to guess whether he's going to go left or right, but we'll have to see if they utilize his arm, but mostly running, I think, when he's back there.
2nd and 9 from their own 37. Ellsworth, the shotgun snap, handoff to the first man at the hole, snuffed out by the Blue Devil defense at the A-gap with nowhere to go. Down quickly there was Dylan Terra, who got swallowed up on the play.
Yeah, not much there, Todd. I think actually lost a yard out of that exchange.
He lost what was gained, +1.
+1,
3rd and 11, back across the 35 at the Algonquin 34.
Nice job swarming Blue Devils defense there, but you can pretty much play run here, until you get burned over the top. I think you got to concentrate on the run and just dare them to throw the ball. And we'll have to see if Algonquin accepts that challenge.
Will Mahoney now into that quarterback spot. 4 receiver set, 3 to the right. Rolls out, throws, tipped by Cormier out of the linebacking core and couldn't come down with it. It will fall harmlessly incomplete for the Titans and bring up a 4th down and long.
Josh Cormier there just couldn't tip it to himself as he was falling to the ground. Had his eyes on it, one hand, just couldn't corral it, but Great job right there getting in that passing lane, bringing up 4th down and punt situation for Algonquin.
Alex Klein stands back at his own 21-yard line awaiting the long snap. Gets a good one head high, puts a beautiful form right kick into it. It will hop at the 38-yard line of Leominster's and release across the 30, still rolling at the 25, and is touched dead at the 23-yard line, and that's where Leominster will set up shop. 1st down and 10, their own 23-yard line coming right to left, and so the teams exchange possessions going nowhere. 8:07 to play here in the first quarter of a scoreless Leominster Algonquin football game. Check of the time and temperature, 58 degrees on a Friday night. Actually, they say feels like 60. We're heading to our low of 44 on a clear, cool fall night here on this Friday night, October the 14th. It is 7:11.
Tell you, great night for football. I'm sure the kids are enjoying it on the field. Nice job flipping the field position there. Algonquin gained about 20 yards in exchange of punts. Nice 45 net yards on that punt.
Encarnacion, the motion man in this shotgun snap. Leominster wants a possession or a penalty for an offside against Algonquin. They're not going to get it. It's going to be an illegal procedure call against Leominster. Penalize them 5 yards. Mark the ball back across their 20 to the 19, and it's 1st and 15.
A little over anxious right there on both sides of the ball. Leominster getting flagged for it.
And Leominster has run this play before, Bill Thomas, with Encarnacion coming in motion, but almost kind of like, he kind of makes a little horseshoe maneuver and then back to the line, almost arena football-esque. 4 receivers spread evenly. Here comes Encarnacion in motion, and the handoff to the motion man. Encarnacion races out on the end around. He gets into open space, turns the corner at the 35, now the 40. He's got midfield. Goodbye, Ricky Encarnacion. 76 yards for a birthday 6. 7:51 to play here in the first quarter, and it's 6-0 Leominster.
Make that 81 yards, Todd. He was on the 19. I didn't calculate extra for that 5-yard penalty, but 81 yards. Oh, my God. welcome back to Leominster's offense, Ricky Encarnacion.
Well, you said last week, Bill Thomas, taking him out of the available lineup took about 10 touchdowns off the board to that point.
The 2.5 average a game, then that's big, and that's basically what Leominster lost by last week. Not that he would have made them all up, but he was a big missing piece last week for sure.
Brian Aguilar holds for Dan Thompson. Good hold, but maybe a deflection as that one does not make it above the line, and it is low and wide left. Back up field come the team. 7:51 to play in the first quarter. It's Leominster 6 and Algonquin nothing. Back to RFM HQ. Kate Robbins standing by. Kate, you've got a score, I'll bet, from Shrewsbury and Grafton. You also got the drive summary.
I'll get you the drive summary. We've been playing on the activity map, so I don't have an update on that game at the moment. We're getting our exercises in, but we had a 2-play drive. It lasted 15 seconds, and you had the 81-yard touchdown end around by Ricky Encarnacion, and we are kicking away on the activity mat. We're having a grand time here back at Studio P.
And people think it's easy,
Playing a little twister?
I was going to say, doing it well. I can only imagine it's a sea turtle theme, Bill Thomas.
Nice.
Lots of lights, probably kicking his little legs as well. I mean, at home, running the studio, also on air with us, and also making sure that Mr. P is kept occupied. Dan Thompson, ball on the tee, 40-yard line at our right. The kick goes end over end from right to left. Pink flag is out on the return, but here comes that return. Downfield with a full head of steam, midfield and more. All the way down to the Leominster 30-yard line. It is a great return. Looked like 10, Jordan Lopez on the return, but the signal, pink flag or not, appears to be a block in the back. It is an illegal block in the back, signaled against Algonquin perhaps twice over. Nonetheless, the ball is coming all the way back to the mark, which is the 24-yard line, and they'll penalize 10 yards from there. It neutralized a 55-yard return for Lopez.
Wow, and I don't know if I've seen an official with a pink flag, but I like the touch. But saw that flag come out early, but nice job crossing the field and picking up his blockers, all for naught.
Algonquin wearing the road white tops with gold bottoms trimmed in the classic Titan maroon helmets with the single white stripe up the middle. Titans in that old New York Giants text of the 90s on either side of the helmet. Ellsworth back at quarterback in a wildcat formation stands at his own 12-yard line on 1st and 10 from their own
15,
16-yard line. Handoff came the near side. It's Magliolino got the carry. He takes it out to about the 25-yard line.
Nice job right there. Actually, it was a forward pass toss.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
the
a
tight end.
Little shovel pass coming across in front of the quarterback there. We'll give him credit for a forward pass
and
right there.
And Pemberton, prior to his injury, was great with that little touch catch. It was almost hockey-esque. It would touch his hands and be in the receiver's hands in a matter of a moment. Wildcat snap for Ellsworth. He'll race it out to right edge into the second level, crossing the 30, 35, go 40, and wrapped and taken down at the 45-yard line. It is an Algonquin first down with Ellsworth calling his own number. Good for a gain of 19.
Nice job right there. Good blocking. Good job sealing off the left side there, trapping the right side of the Blue Devils defense, getting caught inside.
Algonquin's new uniforms, Bill Thomas, a
Having
light
gold
on white.
I was discussing that with somebody earlier.
Issues.
Apparently next year those will not be allowed without some type of a sharp contrast outlining the numbers.
Ellsworth, empty set, 3 receivers in his formation, takes the direct snap, and Ellsworth straight up the middle, crossing the 45 to the 46-yard line, gains 1, maybe 1.5. We'll call it 2nd down and 8.
Josh Cormier right there to make sure he got no more, and nice solid tackle around the ankles. Cormier having a great game here early on in the first quarter. Very involved on the defensive side of things.
6:12 and counting to play here in quarter one. Leominster with the 6-0 advantage. Week 6 high school football action here on RFM Audio and Leominster TV. Ellsworth comes to the line. Terra in the backfield with him. 2nd down and 8. Pair of receivers, wide side right, left to right the march for the Titans. The snap for Ellsworth. Now he rolls with pursuit, throws down, field pass is caught by Chris Adrianson, but he put a knee down on the ground at the Leominster 36-yard line. Catch is good, but he's down right there to gain of 17 and an Algonquin first down.
Yeah, good job. I mean, good job just making sure of that catch and knee down and not. They held on to it, gets all that positive yardage, avoids the contact, picks up the first down.
First down and 10 for Algonquin. The Leominster, they mark it officially at the 38-yard line at right hash. Left to right continues the drive. Ellsworth continues at the quarterback spot. Terra with him on his left. Two receivers to the open side left. The shotgun snap. Ellsworth swings the screen complete to Terra. Terra leaps one of his own blockers right into the grasp of a Leominster defender, and down he goes.
Josh Cormier happened to be that Leominster defender. I think he jumped right into his arms, and Cormier said no more. Pick up a less than one right there. Nice job, Cormier, playing middle linebacker and doing a good job working his way down the line of scrimmage, meeting that runner right when he tried to turn the corner, but nothing there.
Called his name twice, Bill Thomas, once in pass coverage and now once in run support.
Yeah. And he made a nice tackle on that prior play, too. So, he's definitely come to play tonight. He's a middle linebacker's got a lot of responsibility.
Second and a long 9 from the Leominster 37 at left hash. Ellsworth the direct snap. Takes it off the left of the formation, crosses the 35 and down at the 34-yard line. Gains about 4. Third down and about 5 to go.
Big third down right here for Algonquin. One of the keys of the game, Coach Allen talked about finishing off offensive drives deep into Leominster territory here, and I have to see if they can't keep it going. Might as well reach for that low-hanging fruit right now. I'm guessing this is 4-down territory for the Titans.
They need the Leominster 28-yard line for a first down. If you're thinking 4 downs, half it here, get the other half on 4th, and you're in business. Ellsworth in the shotgun set on 3rd down and 6. Take the snap, option pitch, flips it out into the hands of Terra. Leominster defense there, and it is no gain on the play as that door closed as fast as it opened.
And Cormier gets up from the bottom of that pile too. Good job there, working his way to the left side, keeping an eye on the ball carrier there, following that pitch. And tell you, Leominster's bringing heat. They're bringing outside linebackers. No matter what the play looks like, they're definitely trying to pressure the quarterback, turning everything inside, but got to be careful. You don't get burned on a quick hitter right there. When you start bringing those second-level defenders right at that immediate point of attack, you start losing your own areas, and you get beat by that initial attack, and you'll be looking at a backside going down the field.
4-down territory for the Titans. 4th down and a long 6. Shotgun snap for Ellsworth. He got it, but only for a moment. Fumbled it to the ground and can only fall forward on it. Turnover on downs. The ball back to Leominster.
Call that a loss of 3 on a ill-advised running play, but nonetheless, turnover on downs, and exactly what Coach talked about. Finish off these offensive plays, but good job by the Leominster defense. Get Algonquin off the field, get the ball back. See if they can't get another score here as the first quarter winds down.
Clock stops on the change of possession. 3:04 to play in the first quarter. 6-0. Leominster's advantage over Algonquin. Blue Devils out for their 3rd drive of this first half of action.
I thought it was interesting last possession, Todd. We didn't talk about it, but you talked about Ricky running that loop.
1st and 10 at their own 36. Shotgun snap. Back to pass. Lopez waits for the clear out. Now the delay into open space. Cross the second level. Midfield. And now with a caravan of blockers. Down the 20, 10, 5, and into the end zone for a Leominster touchdown. A 63-yard touchdown draw for Osiris Lopez.
I'm speechless, Todd, but I tell you, once he broke that first level containment, broke the grasp, a couple of jersey grasps right there, and he showed some wheels right there, too, and worked his way through the defenders in the secondary. But then he had a host of Blue Devils leading him for the last 20 yards, and they were there waiting for him, picked up a couple extra blockers, and rode him into the end zone.
2:49 to play in the first quarter. It's 12-0 Leominster's advantage. Dan Thompson on to attempt the point after. He'll be kicking from right to left, and Aguilar will hold. There was flinching on all sides of the line there. Pink flags are out in all directions. Signaled as an offside as Algonquin broke the neutral zone on the right side, maybe getting a little hungry there, trying to come in for a block.
Yeah, trying to save a point here and being a little too aggressive. And they're going to change here. I think they might decide to go for 2, Todd.
And Leominster is sending the snowplow offense back onto the field.
I think this has got 0 written all over it. This is his situation. He's got Cormier out there to help lead him. Who else is in that fullback position, Todd? Number 20 looks like is back there with him. E.J.
Machuca.
see which way he goes here.
I believe that's Cormier as the other back with his hand on the ground. The snap for Encarnacion, going for two, right to left. Into the pack, off that C-gap, and into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good.
Nice job right there. Looked like he followed Machuca right through behind the center and the left guard and tackle, but no tackling Ricky Encarnacion on first and second contact tonight. He is one determined player.
Back upfield come the teams. 2:49 to play in the first quarter. It's Leominster 14 and Algonquin nothing. Kate Robbins standing by. She's got the scoring drive.
This one was easy for me, gentlemen. This is a one-play drive. It covers 64 yards. It's a 64-yard quarterback keeper touchdown rush by the quarterback, Osiris Lopez. 2-point conversion is good to Ricky Encarnacion. 14-0 Leominster on top of Algonquin.
All right, Kate, thank you so much. Ball back on the tee, 40-yard line at our right. Dan Thompson will be kicking from right to left.
Well, we saw that quick strike offense that the Blue Devils have. They did it on the ground.
Thompson on the approach, swings the right leg, end over end with a nice right to left angle. It will be returned from the Algonquin 11-yard line with a head of steam up toward the 20, across the 20 to the 25, and it's Lopez again on the return for Algonquin. A 13-yard return and gives Algonquin manageable field position, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, middle of the field.
Algonquin got to find a way to put a drive together here. 2 scores in the first quarter and 3 yards in a cloud of dust is not making it. A little different offensive philosophy here for Algonquin.
Mahoney up under center, the snap, and the handoff this time went to Ellsworth. He crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line. Gains maybe 1, 2nd down and 9. More importantly, Algonquin has picked up the pace, Bill Thomas, on this.
Quick.
Straight line backfield behind Mahoney under center. Mahoney the snap. Give it to Terra. Terra across the 25. Maybe toward the 26-yard line. No gain. Yeah. 3rd down and 9 quickly here.
Say hello, Josh Cormier, once again in on the tackle. But, yeah, no rest here. And Algonquin was in a real hurry.
Great hustle by Tony Kendall to get off the field so Leominster could make a quick substitution. Meanwhile, Coach Allen sends in a play. Mahoney checks the Rolex. He's under center. The snap. Play action fake, rolls out to his right, buys some time, flips down the numbers right, leaping, interception made by who else? Ricky Encarnacion. The return from right to left across the 45, the 40, and spun down at the 36-yard line. It's a 10-yard interception return for Ricky Encarnacion, who now has a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and an interception, all on his 18th birthday.
And I think when he saw that ball get lofted up in the air, I think his eyes lit up. He was the tallest person in the general vicinity where he knew that ball was going to come down. He timed his leap perfectly and just out-jumped everybody that had a chance, came down with 2 hands on the ball and got some positive yardage out of the other side of it.
6'2" feels very, very tall in that circumstance.
Ricky Encarnacion making his presence felt here early on in the first quarter of this game. Welcome back, Ricky.
1st and 10, Leominster, 37-yard line at left hash of the Titans. Shotgun set, 4 receivers evenly split. Lopez back to pass, dances back and forth in the pocket. Now he's going to tuck the ball and roll it out to the right. He will take it across from right to left, the 35, reach toward the 30, steps out of bounds about the 32-yard line. Gains 4, maybe 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. And Bill Thomas is another case where Lopez took what the defense gave him.
Exactly right. You know, and I thought he was going to let that ball fly. Ricky was waving his hand down there, not really clear, but those are the situations the Blue Devils have gotten burned when, you know, Lopez just lofts one up there when he shouldn't, instead of taking what's presented to him and moving on, getting a 2nd and 3rd down with manageable yardage. And those have been turned into turnovers, but not tonight.
2nd and 5 from the Algonquin 36 at right hash. Shotgun snap, give it to Newton. There was a clear out off the right. Nice block. Kendall created the space at the initial point of attack. Cross the 30 to the 28-yard line. Gains 3. 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, good job right there, though. But this is how you get, you know, the ball down the field, burn a little clock. You know, you can't just loft the ball up for a big play every chance you get your hands on it. But this is, I think, some maturity shown in the Blue Devils' offenses. They're not just a big play, but see if they can't grind out some first downs.
Final minute here of quarter number 1. Leominster with the 14-0 lead. Drive moving from right to left. 3rd down and a yard to go from the Algonquin 28-yard line at right hash. The snap for Lopez out of the shotgun. Give it to Newton. Newton gets a couple of blocks and slides his way into a hole toward the 25-yard line. And that is enough for a Leominster first down on a gain of 3.
Nice job. Slow development play right there by Newton, doing a good job of picking his way through that right side of his line, deciding which block was going to prevail right there. He didn't need very many yards. I think he needed 2, got 3, moved the chains, and keep that clock moving. Probably be the last play of the first quarter here, Todd.
There was 45 seconds on the play clock when they spotted the ball, Bill Thomas, so they're going to have to snap it once here with a 40-second play clock. First down and 10 to go at the 25-yard line of Algonquin. Play action fake to Newton. Slant coming from the left. Complete. Lopez to Drinkwater. Spins off a defender. Across the 15, across the 10, and down at the 9. Clock stops with 9 seconds left here in the first quarter, and a first down and goal to go for Leominster. But Coach Devin Gates calls the team back upfield. That gain of 17 will be the period that ends the first period. 0-0's on the board through 1 quarter. It's Leominster 14 and Algonquin nothing. Teams change ends. Second quarter coming up, but first we send it back to HQ. Kate Robbins standing by. She's got your first quarter stats and scores from around the region. Kate.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a look at Leominster's side of the ball. Their offense is firing on all cylinders. Although their first offensive drive ends with a punt after 6 plays, the last 2 offensive drives both ended up in touchdowns, and it just took 15 seconds. Back to you guys.
How about that, Kate? Thank you so
breathe.
much.
Just trying to breathe, guys. Sorry.
No problem at all. And that 15-second report was about as long as Leominster's offense has seemingly been on the field. They're not going to lead in time of possession in the first quarter. That is for certain. We're so happy to have you along with us on RFM Audio, wherever you are, across the region or around the globe, streaming via YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, with our television partners at Leominster TV on Comcast and Verizon Cable, our radio partners in Delay, 95.1 FM, WLPZ LPFM, or Tucka56radio.com. We are all so pleased to support the student athletes and institutions as the legendary soundtrack of football in Central Mass continues right here on RFM Audio. Quickly, second quarter set to begin. First and goal, Leominster at the Algonquin 9 at left hash. Shotgun snap, play action fake to Newton, rolls and throws. Lopez finds Viola, makes the catch, reaches for the end zone, and in untouched. It's a Leominster touchdown. 8 seconds into the second quarter. It's 20-0 blue and white. 11:53 to play before halftime.
Untouched is an understatement, Todd. That looked too easy.
Point after attempt coming up here for Thompson. It'll be his first kick left to right in this one. Kicking toward the upper field. Got a little wind from right to left, laterally from sideline to sideline. And Aguilar will do the holding. This phase of the game, Bill Thompson with Bill Thomas, Dan Thompson has struggled a little bit in this process. Good snap. Aguilar gets the ball down, and Thompson Colcocks that one up into the hill, caught by the youth playing football on the banking, and up the field come the teams. 11:53 to play before halftime. It's 21-0 Leominster on top of Algonquin tonight.
I think he likes kicking in that direction, Todd, and something tells me he's going to get a couple more chances here before this second quarter is over, but Blue Devils just firing on all cylinders right now and making it look too easy. I don't know if that was a blown assignment, but once again, getting another receiver involved. Jared Viola catching, a touchdown pass tonight. It's not all Ricky Encarnacion. And, the Blue Devils have shown that they have other weapons, but when you remove a very important weapon, it just makes the job all that much harder for the other weapons. I think we saw that last week, but when you get to spread things around, good things happen.
If you're just joining us and haven't been necessarily following along throughout the year, Algonquin was seen as a preseason playoff team, certainly a team with serious playoff hopes, and 8 season-ending injuries. We chronicled them during the countdown to kickoff tonight, has certainly affected Coach Mark Allen's lineup. Thompson swings the right leg, end over end goes the kick. It'll be returned from the Algonquin 15-yard line with some space through the middle of the field, across the 30 and the 35 and down at the 36-yard line. Nice return on that one. Looked like 35, yeah. Max Egan, the sophomore.
Yeah, picked up about 20 on that return. Nice job getting the Titans decent field position, but still on their own side of the 50. Been down in Blue Devils territory once tonight, resulting in a turnover on downs for the Titans. Have to see if they can't get something going here in the second quarter.
Here comes an Algonquin, first down and 10, their own 36-yard line, middle of the field. A straight eye backfield. The handoff flipped right through the middle of that A gap, and the third man to the hole was the one who got the carry, and it's a carry for Patrick Hanlon and Bill Thomas. That one was a three-man deep. It's a long tee.
That was an eye with a dot on it right there.
It was.
Look at it. They were halfway back to the end zone, and by the time that third guy gets up to the line of scrimmage, the Blue Devils are able to decipher that. Once again, Josh Cormier gets off the bottom of that pile after a gain of about 2.
Hanlon will gain 2.5. The football advanced up to the 38.5 yard line, still middle of the field, their own, going right to left. Now a double wing formation.
Throwing the whole playbook out there tonight.
Mahoney under center, give it to Ellsworth, and Ellsworth takes it straight through the A gap, up across the 40, 41, and down around the 42-yard line. And Bill Thomas, this is what Algonquin's offense looks like if you look at the first couple weeks of the season. It's not something new. This is what they were doing to keep defenses off balance.
Yeah.
A true multi-formation front.
But it's unfortunate that these formations have not become part of their success at this point because they don't have the skill players. Yeah, they still want to mix and match and throw you these different looks. I think they're still looking for what works, to be perfectly honest with you, Todd. They're still trying to find their identity with the new players that they're trying to fit into the starting lineup.
Third down, 4 to go. Ball their own 42-yard line at left hash. Under center in the double wing, it's Mahoney. The give for Hanlon, who was the right wing back, turns the left corner, cross the 40, and he has stood up. Forward momentum stopped with no gain or short gain on the play. He was shy of the 45 at about the 44-yard line.
Yeah, Jared Viola just wrapped him up and ran him out of bounds, about a yard short of the first down. Going to bring up fourth and less than a yard. No, about a good, solid yard, Todd. And once again, Algonquin rolling the dice here.
Coach Mark Allen says, hey, we got to go. You're down 21 in the middle part of the second quarter. We got to go. And so Mahoney stays on the field. On 4th and a yard, they need their own 46-yard line coming right to left. Double wing set. Mahoney's under center. Ellsworth is directly behind him. Terra and Hanlon are the wing backs.
They're going to get him to jump. That's not going to work.
Lots of hard counts for Mahoney and no one biting for Leominster. And now the flag is up from the back judge. It's a delay of game against the Titans.
I think they got a timeout, actually.
They did. The flag went up, but they will grant the timeout.
I saw the side judge over there signaling the sideline timeout right when the flag was about to leave the belt, I think. And we'll have to see if what Algonquin decides to do. I think they should come out and go for this. You know, giving them the 15, 20 yards off a punt. Granted, their punter got some great field position.
Alex Klein's a great kicker.
Last time, I think he got about 45 net yards. But you got to try to build some momentum here. You're not going to build momentum by putting the ball away.
9:29 to play before halftime. 21-0 Leominster's advantage. Algonquin facing a 4th down and short. Tonight's broadcast of high school football on RFM audio will be rebroadcast via our partners at 95.1 FM, WLPZ FM. Set your dial for 95.1 FM for a weekly encore presentation of tonight's complete broadcast beginning each Saturday at noon. And while you're there, enjoy the great information, education, and entertainment for members of the community, by members of the community, on Leominster's owned and operated 95.1 FM, WLPZ. Out of the timeout. Deep back formation. The snap is for Terra direct. Terra takes it on 4th down and short, across the 45 and down at the 48-yard line. Gain of 4, and the Algonquin drive continues.
Came out with a completely different offensive set there. That was a super snowplow and not wasting any time right there. No Mickeying around with a handoff and turning around. Just attack, and picked up those 4 yards they needed.
Straight downhill running. Finish off that WLPZ read. The great staff at WLPZ LPFM are always looking for new volunteers to expand their program offerings. For information on how you too can get involved, visit WLPZ.org. 1st and 10 for the Titans. Ball located at their own 48 at left hash. The shotgun snap. Into the hole goes Ellsworth, and he gets rocked by Xavier Cora.
Welcome to the game, Cora. Yes, you're here, and I think that the opponent knows it now. Xavier just leveling him. No more right there.
Xavier
no
Cora,
gain.
a sophomore that showed well in preseason camp, then into the preseason scrimmages, and has become a stalwart on this Leominster defense, including on the offensive side, making a couple of appearances at running back as well.
Playing an outside linebacker position and doing a great job covering his area right there.
2nd and 10 at the Algonquin 48 at left hash. Shotgun snap, the play action fake. Ellsworth tries to throw against the grain for Terra. Hits the ground incomplete. It is a forward pass that hit the ground incomplete. 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, risky play right there. And I'm not sure there was going to be any positive yardage to be gained. Probably a good job. Good for the Titans that ball did hit the turf there harmlessly. Close to being a backwards pass, but the official's right on it. Looked like Coach Gates was right there too, signaling incomplete. Didn't want anybody chasing the ball.
7:59 to play here in the second quarter. Clock stopped on the incompletion. 3rd down and 10 to go for Algonquin. Ball located at their own 48-yard line, just inside of left hash as they continue from right to left. They need the Leominster 42 for a first down. Shotgun set, Ellsworth back there with Terra. Check it, it's Mahoney. Mahoney to snap, straight bootleg out to the right, throws, jumping the lane is Steve Diaz, and gets there just in time to thwart Chris Adrianson, the intended receiver. The pass will fall incomplete.
Diaz timing that up just right. Coming in from the backside right when the ball got there. Not that it was going to be a first down. It was going to come up short. It was going to bring up 4th and long, but definitely putting the Titans in punting situation here, and no doubt about it. I don't think any funny business coming up on this play, Todd.
4th and 10 at their own 48. Alex Klein stands at his own 34-yard line to punt. High snap, fielded by Klein. Scrambled, got this one off the side of his foot. It's high. It will hit at the Leominster 41-yard line and then will head in the wrong direction. A Leominster bounce for that football off the foot of Klein across the 45 and out of bounds at the Leominster 49-yard line. Net Bill Thomas 3 yards on that punt.
That one hurt, and that took about a 10 to 15-yard backwards bounce, and just things not going right for Algonquin Titans right now.
Sometimes it releases in the right direction, as you saw on the first punt. That one went in the wrong direction. It hit hard on the point and came right back from whence it came.
But that started right out with a high snap, some pressure off of that.
Scramble.
So, and then things didn't go right from then.
Your clock starts racing awfully fast when you're the punter and those situations happen. 1st and 10, their own 49 at left hash. Here comes Leominster with a 21-0 lead. 4 receiver set. Lopez out of a gun. Rolls out, buys time, looks over the middle of the field for Cora. Incomplete, and Cora takes a shoulder shiver from Brian Toussaint playing in the linebacker corps.
Yeah, kind of left him out to dry right there. Lopez trying to direct traffic and getting Cora to cut back against the grain. But, it's hard. Lopez running one direction. He's trying to get Cora to go opposite way he's running. Little mixed signals there, and the pass was high off Cora's hands. Luckily, no Titan defenders on the backside there, so ball fell harmlessly to the turf.
There is a lot of white jerseys against the grain there. 2nd down and 10 to go. The Leominster 49 at left hash. Leominster's drive coming left to right. 4 receiver even split. Snap for Lopez. Give it to Cora out of the backfield this time. He finds his way off the left of the formation. Midfield 45-40 and down at the 35-yard line on a gain of 15, and it's a Leominster first down.
Nice job by Cora picking his way around the left side of the Blue Devils offense, waiting for his blocks and finding a hole, picking up a quick 15.
1st down and 10 for Leominster at the Algonquin 36 at left hash. The shotgun snap, fake it to Cora. Now it's the slant coming from the right. Pass is caught barrel roll style by Aguilar across the 30 to the 29. Gains 7.
Pretty play right there. Something you can work on. Something like that. You can get that to be automatic if you can get that time, and it's almost impossible to defend.
Seam shotgun set. Lopez looks same play. Then it's a delay. He's being taken to the ground. The fumble. The football comes out. And the line back on top of it. Great scramble by Logan Arce, the left tackle. He scrambled hands and knees in order to get back on that football, as Lopez, Bill Thomas, might have been freelancing there a little bit and got in a little bit of trouble.
Carrying that loaf of bread out there on his forearm. Got it knocked loose. And something he'll learn when you start running. You got to tuck it away. Comes a time when you got to give up the thought of throwing the ball and just tuck it away and get what you can out of it, and that'll come with experience.
Loses 5, maybe 6 on the play. Ball back to the Algonquin 40-yard line. Brendan Martin in the backfield with Lopez calling signals. 4 receiver split. Here's the snap. Back to pass, it's Lopez. Looks for the slant, coming from the left, and it is intercepted. It's Chris Adrianson in pass coverage.
Trying to hit Drinkwater there to no avail.
And Bill Thomas, that looked eerily similar to last week against Peabody. You asked me in the pregame, is there some way some of these teams can go to school on what Peabody did to Leominster? That was it.
Yeah, Watt get some pressure on, get him to make that quick decision. Ill-advised pass right there, and just end up in Titans linebacker's hand. Turnover right there, and Titans got to make something happen.
5:48 to play in the second quarter. It's 21-0 Leominster's lead, but Algonquin gets the first flip in their direction. An interception. Now they've got the football going from right to left. Can their offense answer the bell that their defense has created? 1st and 10 at their own 36 middle of the field. Under center, Mahoney, the snap. Give to the first man at the hole, it's Terra. With some space up that A gap, across the 40 and down at the 44-yard line. Gains 7 on the play.
You know, one thing I noticed, Todd, Osiris Lopez comes off the field, throws on the headphones. Immediately talking to his coaching staff to work on what went wrong, what might have went right, but where things turned out wrong, and how they can do better next time. But you don't see that a lot at the high school level. This kid's going to learn a lot. And he's soaking it all in.
Quarterback coach Aaron Canterbury up here on press row with us, talking with Lopez. 2nd down and short, and the carry went into the pile for Hanlon. Hanlon to the 45 and gains 2 more. 3rd down and a yard. They need their own 46.5-yard line, or a little bit more than the 46, maybe not quite 1/2, but got to move it across the 45 to the 46 plus. 4:52 to play in the second quarter. Leominster with that 21-0 lead, but Algonquin looking to make a turnover hurt here in the first half.
Burning a lot of clock here, though.
Mahoney will stroll to the line. 2-back set behind him as he goes under center. The snap, Mahoney gets low, goes into the pile following his center across the 45, but maybe a short gain on the play.
So I see 55, looks like comes up with an arm injury, but he first went to the power right there. Who was that, Todd? That's Gio Roman making a hit there on 3rd and short, but a little elbow injury coming off the field here for this 4th down play. But nice job right there stuffing that 3rd and short play up the middle. I think he was playing nose tackle, and there was no gain to be had right there.
And score it as a short, if any, gain on the play. It is now 4th down and a yard. The ball is laying on the 45-yard line. They need their own 46 from right to left. And here comes a tightly packed snowplow with a lot of beef in the backfield, Bill Thomas. And Coach Devin Gates said, timeout.
Yeah, let's think
let's talk
this.
about how this is going to line
up. When they got a 54 and a 64 and a 58 lining up in front of the running back, yeah, you might want to rethink your defense.
You know, we talk about the snowplow. Leominster's version of the snowplow looks more like, Bill Thomas, like one of the small pickup trucks to work your local road. That right there was the highway model.
That was.
Big plow in front of you.
And they were going to get that yacht no matter what, Todd. But,
indeed they were.
You know, Algonquin's determined. You got to give them credit. They showed no give up, and they're battling right here. And, you know, put a couple of first downs together, but they got to find a way to break a big play. 3 yards in a cloud of dust isn't going to cut it tonight.
3:49 to play before halftime, 21-0. Leominster on top of Algonquin. Algonquin once again facing a 4th down decision. This off of a turnover they created on an interception of Osiris Lopez. Tonight's broadcast of high school football broadcast with our partners at Leominster TV, Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 32, replays throughout the week and weekend on Leominster TV. On 4th and a yard, the give was for Ellsworth. Ellsworth gets the jump on the Leominster defense, crossed the 45, brought down at midfield. It's a gain of 4, and the Algonquin drive continues again. And that moving quickly from the sideline, Bill Thomas, throws the Leominster defense a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they come out, they're ready to run that play, and you know, they ran a version of in-tight snowplow, but turned it into a sweep over here and found a way to that 1st down.
1st and 10 at midfield. Right to left continues the drive. Mahoney's under center with a 2-back split behind him. Snap, give it this time to the motion man. It was Hanlon. Hanlon avoided the first rush, cross midfield, and moves to the 46-yard line, gaining 4, and we'll call it 2nd down and 6.
Nice job right there breaking that first level of containment, but linebackers coming up and clean that up, but avoiding a couple of tackles, one of them behind the line of scrimmage, turned that into a solid 5-yard gain.
Yeah, I was going to say they moved the football up to the 45, so gain 5. 2nd down and 5. They need the Leominster 40 for a first, as here comes the Algonquin offense in Leominster territory. Mahoney from under center. Give this time was for Terra, and he was snake bit, wrapped, and down. It's Josh Cormier, pink gloves and all.
How many times did we say his name tonight? And more mentions in the first half than some players get an entire season, but Cormier having the game of the season for him, and he's coming up big. A number of one-on-one tackles, I think, none bigger than that, and bringing up once again another big 3rd down play after losing 2 yards on that tackle right there. Nice job by Josh
been
Cormier.
wherever the football has been.
He's playing the prototype middle linebacker. He's following the ball, and he's finding the crease that the front blockers create and coming in and filling that hole.
Mahoney in the shotgun set, moves Terra to his right, 4 receivers in the formation. Back to pass Mahoney, flings this one downfield, leaping catch is made. Great pull out of the sky. The catch was made by Dylan Poirier, the freshman wide receiver, making the catch and getting the first down on a gain of 17.
Nice job right there, and that was a 50-50 ball that he had inside position on. Looks like he had position on Mackay Newton over there, I think, playing defense. But nonetheless, nice job. And probably, no, if not Mackay, could have been number 3, I think. And nonetheless, just great job.
Viola there, Bill Thomas.
Whoever it was, the receiver did a great job.
Under center, it was Mahoney. Quick snap in the double set. Straight up the middle of the field, the carry for Terra. Terra moves the football across the 30 to the 28. Gains another 5, 2nd down and 5.
Algonquin moving the ball down the field, Todd, but take a quick look to our left. Only a $1.19 left, and they're going to run out of time here.
Chasing a 21-0 Leominster lead. On 2nd down, under center, it's Mahoney. Give it this time for Hanlon. Avoids that first tackle again. Crossed the 25 and spun down at the 21-yard line.
Good for about, let's see where they're going to give him the spot. I think he's going to get a first down out of this. Going to give him about 8 yards on that. Going to move the chains.
Timeout on the field. Algonquin coach Mark Allen will stop the clock. 1:03 to play before halftime. 21-0 Leominster's lead. But the Titans are driving here.
Desperately trying to get something here. Go into the halftime locker room, something to build on, and they'll have the ball to start the second half.
Coming up at the half, Kate Robbins standing by at RFM HQ. She's got a full stat recap from half number 1, plus scores from around the region on our halftime scoreboard. We'll also identify our impact player and have our mid-game adjustments. Plus, here on RFM Audio and Leominster TV, you get the bands. The bands are coming up. Halftime performance of the Marching Blue Devils coming up at the half as well. Plus, so much more here from Doyle Field on a Friday night.
Great crowd here tonight. We've come to expect this, and fans turning out in droves, students and parents alike.
1st and 10 for Algonquin at the Leominster 21. Under center Mahoney, the snap. The give was for Terra. Defense there. Down he goes. Check it. It was Hanlon on the carry. Hanlon loses 2. It'll be 2nd and 12. Make it 13 back to the Leominster 23.
Delmar Wright bowls him over and just knocks him to the ground. Doesn't tackle him, just bowls him over.
45 seconds left before halftime. Mahoney the snap. Rolling and throwing. Little dart complete by Terra, and he gets shouldered out of bounds after gaining 3, maybe 4 on the play. He's back past the original line, across the 20 at the 19.
And Viola over there on the hit, big hit. Stops the clock, though, on that out-of-bounds play. Gives Algonquin a little chance to regroup, but running out of downs and running out of time here in the second quarter, Todd.
Mahoney with that hard rolling pocket. When they roll to the right, they've run it a few times. The snap, he books it toward the numbers and then just tries to find somebody peeling off the end or out of the backfield. 3rd down and 8 to go at the Leominster 19-yard line from right to left. The shotgun snap. Mahoney sends a bullet down the line, looking for Hanlon on the wide receiver's screen. It is incomplete and stops the clock 31 seconds before halftime.
A lot of Blue Devils over there, too, and dangerous play, but ball falling incomplete.
4th down and 8 to go for the Titans at the Leominster 19-yard line. Couple steps inside of the right hash. Right to left continues the drive. Got 1 pop left here, Bill Thomas, before halftime. I say end zone it.
Well, they still got a chance to make a first down here, but you got to get it inside the 10, and you know, you haven't had any success up to this point. You might as well go for the end zone, maybe get a flag or get something good to happen here.
Terror with Mahoney in the backfield and a 4-receiver spread. Hanlon checks in motion from left to right. The snap, Mahoney back on 5 steps, looks for the wheel, down to the end zone, leaping, interception made in the end zone. It's Steve Diaz who makes the interception and puts the exclamation point on this first half of action.
I think that's who was out there. I'm trying to see. Yeah, he's out there celebrating. Yeah, it was Steve Diaz. You see, look who's celebrating the hardest. And it's easy to find, but great job right there.
I cheated Bill Thomas. Bradley Bedard gave us a great look on Leominster TV tonight. Got a chance to see that.
I got the TV right in front of me, but I'm looking at a play 100 yards away, but I want to watch it.
Teams exchange
Thank you,
turnovers.
LTV, by the way. Great look here in the booth, too.
Absolutely. 23 seconds left before halftime. 21-0 Leominster's lead. And I imagine Coach Devin Gates one play here to bring this half to a close. 1st and 10. Shotgun set. Trips to the wide side right. Lopez. Snap. Give it to Mackay Newton. Newton tries to change the grain of the play, going from right to left. Steps across the 20 to the 21. Gains 1.5. And a timeout taken by Leominster. Stops the clock 13 seconds before halftime.
Trying to work on something here, a little pre-half play. I mean, you never know when something's going to come up. Every play is situational, especially at this level.
An opportunity, Bill Thomas, for us to remind you, stay tuned at the half. Kate Robbins is standing by. She got your first half stats, scores from all across the region tonight. Plus, we've got the bands. The Marching Blue Devils will be out on this Doyle Field turf with their halftime performance. We'll have that for you along with our mid-game adjustments and our impact play or player of the first half.
We've had a number of them.
And you can get the breakdown and preview of each week's action on RFM's Coach's Corner with Leominster head coach Devin Gates. New episodes premiere Mondays at 9 p.m. on these same RFM platforms, including YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on Tucker56radio.com. And Thursdays on 95.1 FM WLPZ and WLPZ.org. Out of the Leominster timeout, 13 seconds before halftime, a 21-0 advantage. It's 2nd down and 9, ball located at their own 21-yard line. Shotgun spread, 4 receivers evenly split in the formation. Lopez back to pass. Now he's going to step up in the pocket. He'll tuck and run, race into the open space, easily to the 40, 45, and he gets decapitated, crossing the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Jumps up and calls timeout right away. He wants another bite at the apple here before halftime. Not satisfied with that play.
And the clock stopped on the timeout with 5 seconds left before halftime. 21-0 is Leominster's advantage. And Bill Thomas, I will pose the question. Would the strategy be the same if the power ratings were not something you have to account for here?
You're spot on, Todd, because, we talk about 14, but 21's not good enough because you don't want it to, by chance, dip under 14. So we've joked around. 28 is kind of the magic number. You got to live in that 28 to 35 lead range. Then you can play your second-level players, not have to worry about coughing up a lead that might drop below 14 and still, enjoy the rest of the game, as best you can. And get some players experience, but not have to worry about that threshold of what's going to cost you points even in a win.
Margin of victory is stat number 1, maxed at 14 points. So whether you win by 14 or 42, it is capped at 14 points for margin of victory. Then it's opponent rating based on their wins and losses combined to get your playoff power rating and eligibility. 1st down and 10. Look out to the left. Lopez finds Drinkwater. Drinkwater into the second level. Cross midfield, 45, and down at the Algonquin 41-yard line. And that will bring us to the conclusion of the first half.
We'll give him a 14-yard stat to close that out.
Halftime here at historic Doyle Field. It's Leominster out in front, 21-0 over Algonquin at the half. Once again, coming up here at the half, Kate Robbins has got your scores from around the region, also your stats for the first half as well of this one, Leominster and Algonquin, and the bands as they race out onto the field. And Bill Thomas, I'm noticing that as they go to set up, they are sporting on their various contraptions that are going out as part of the presentation old photographs of the Leominster High School marching bands. I recognize the cowboy look of the 80s was heading toward that 30-yard line to our right, and then this marching band look, I think they need to resurrect these uniforms here. This is like Ottoman Empire-esque.
That's classic. I love that. And yeah, but nice touch and bringing back a little bit of history. And I think we saw some of this at Shepherd Hill, some of these photos of players and band members out on the field post-game when we were out there a couple of weeks ago. But great touch, and hey, the band deserves every bit of recognition for what they do pre, post-game, and halftime, and during the game. Keep everybody engaged. Just a great job by the Leominster Blue Devil Band.
Halftime show is under construction. We'll have the Leominster High School marching band when we return. As we step aside here at the half, it's Leominster 21 and Algonquin nothing. Break, and we're back with more at the half. Stay with us. This is Leominster High School football on RFM Audio.
I'll never forget the day I decided to go out for the football team. Mr. Banks, the JV football coach and my history teacher, asked me to stay after class. I thought I was in trouble. He said, "Hey, Darius, have you thought about going out for football? I think you'd be great." Fact is, I never played football. Fact is, I never had anyone tell me I'd be great at something. So, with no experience at all, I signed up. And a week later, I padded up and was running drills on the field. I never was great, but playing high school sports was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was accepted by my teammates, and I learned that when someone believes in you, you can believe in yourself.
Encourage a student you know to take part in a high school sport. This message presented by the MIAA and the Massachusetts Secondary Schools Athletic Directors Association.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Is there a student athlete at your school that deserves recognition? Someone who's constantly representing your school as a good citizen and should be acknowledged. Now is your chance to nominate a student athlete for the MIAA Student Athlete of the Month Award. This award is presented monthly to 2 student athletes who display excellence in the areas of academics, athletics, and community service. Students in grades 9 through 12 who attend MIAA member schools are eligible to receive the award. Visit the MIAA website at miaa.net to nominate a student athlete today. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, building the future through educational athletics.
This is Bob Sosi, the voice of New England football, for the best high school football action in North Central Mass, featuring our award-winning broadcast team of Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, and Kate Robbins. Keep it right here.
Right on schedule, back to historic Doyle Field in Leominster. Halftime score. Leominster on top of Algonquin, 21-0. And it's time now for the Marching Blue Devils. The Leominster High School Marching Band has your halftime performance here on RFM Audio and Leominster TV. And with an authoritative gong, that's the Leominster High School Marching Blue Devils performing here at the half at historic Doyle Field. We continue with the marching band here on RFM Audio and Leominster TV. Marching Blue Devils of Leominster High School here on the turf at the half, where Leominster has a 21-0 advantage. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have you along with us as we continue at the half. I'm going to send it back to RFM HQ. Kate Robbins is standing by. She's got your first half stats and scores from around the region on this week 6 of action.
Thank you so much, Todd. First, let's take a look at team totals. Leominster right now on top of Algonquin, 21-0. Leominster, 254 total yards of offense, 65 coming via the pass, 189 coming via their rushing attack in 19 plays on offense. 1 turnover for the Blue Devils in the first half. On Algonquin's side of the ball, 105 total yards, 47 coming via the pass, 58 coming via the rush, and 34 plays on offense. 2 turnovers for the Titans thus far in the early going. No touchdowns for the Titans, but Notable individual contributions, the rushing attack, Dylan Terra, 7 rushes for 10 yards. Ellsworth has 9 touches for 32 yards. If we take a look for Mahoney and Ellsworth combined, again, 47 yards passing to 3 separate receivers, Dylan Terra, Natalo Maggiolino, and Dylan Poirier. Poirier has 17 yards. Terra has 21 yards of receiving. Once again, no touchdowns for the Titans as of yet. If we take a look at Leominster's side of the ball, individual statistics for the Blue Devils right now in the rushing attack, a team high 81 yards, courtesy of Ricky Encarnacion. Osiris Lopez actually has 2 more yards than Ricky does. 4 carries for 83 of Leominster's 189 yards of rushing offense in the first half. When it comes to the passing game, Lopez, 6 of 9 passing. He's completed 67% of his passes for a total of 65 yards to 4 different receivers. Team high, 3 receptions for Caden Drinkwater for 42 of Leominster's 65 yards receiving. If we take a look at the 3 touchdowns for the Blue Devils, 2 of them come in the first quarter. It was the 81-yard touchdown rush by Ricky Encarnacion. Extra point there was no good. That put Leominster up 6-0. Then with 2 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Osiris Lopez with the 64-yard touchdown keeper for a score. 2-point conversion is good. Leominster on top 14-0 at the end of 1. Then with just 8 seconds into the second quarter, Jared Viola has the 9-yard touchdown reception. Extra point there also good by Thompson. Leominster up 21-0 there. Would you like me to do a whip right around the region, or would you like to chat? All right, we'll whip right around the region. We take a look at scores coming in here in the early going. Assabet right now 24-14 on top of Bay Path at the half. Monty Tech right now on top of St. Paul 26-18 in the third quarter there. Shrewsbury and Grafton are in a tight one in the fourth quarter. Shrewsbury just retook the lead. It's 12-7 Shrewsbury over Grafton. Again, Grafton undefeated in Division 4. Shrewsbury 3-2 in Division 1. Shrewsbury starting to take the lead there. Then when we go to Wachusett is pouring it on right now, 40-0 Wachusett over Shepherd Hill, and that's just second quarter action. All tied 0-0 at the half. Neshoba and Marlborough thus far. West Boylston right now on top of Oxford 15-0 in the second. Air Shirley on top of Narragansett right now at the half 14-0. Hudson and Tantasqua in a close one 14-13 at the half. Hudson on top of Tantasqua. And Clinton is extending their lead 21-7. That was an end of first quarter score, but right now Clinton with a sizable lead, and that is your whip around the region thus far.
Kate, thanks for that. Getting ready for second half action here. The band has wrapped it up tight. Great halftime performance. Teams are back out on the field. Algonquin will be receiving the second half kickoff. Kate, what do you think Algonquin's got to do here to get back in this game? You know, they put a nice drive together there to end the second quarter, but they came up with empty at the end of it. What do you think they got to do here to start off the third quarter? They are going to be possessing the ball for the first drive.
Well, take a look. 3 out of their 5 offensive drives have ended essentially in a turnover of some kind, either a turnover on downs or an interception. So right now, any time they've been able to get 8 plays or 7 plays, or even in their final offensive drive of the first half, a 13-play drive, they just come up short. They either make a poor decision on offense and throw the ball into the hands of one of Leominster's defensive backs in the secondary, and they just blow up. They just end what was a sizable drive. Other than that, on some of the other drives, they're just not able to get anything going. So right now, trying to limit the amount of mistakes that they have is going to be key. And looks like Leominster is getting ready to kick off to Algonquin here to start second half action, Billy. Is that right?
Yeah,
Indeed
let's
it
welcome
is.
Todd back.
Ball in the tee, 40-yard line at our right. Kick us away. End over end goes the line drive. It will be returned back across the 25 to the 27-yard line. And that's where Algonquin will set up. 1st and 10, their own 27-yard line coming left to right.
Kate, good job with that halftime wrap-up, and we'll be talking to you as the game progresses here.
Bill Thomas, As we get set here, 6 seconds into this third quarter, Algonquin chasing a 21-0 lead. Your mid-game adjustments for the Titans.
Well, they got to find a way to get the Blue Devil offense off the field, but not only that, they got to find a way to score that first touchdown. Just kind of break the ice here, and they get the first shot out of here in the third quarter.
Indeed, they do, and it is deflected down.
I think, and kind of a byproduct of that play right there, Todd. Algonquin's became predictable. I don't think Blue Devils think they can throw the ball, and if they do show any kind of inclination to pass, they're putting the pressure on them. And a couple of completions, but nothing really down the field, nothing productive. And I think the Blue Devils are going to continue to concentrate on the run. Algonquin's got to do something different and come up with a big play somehow to loosen up the Blue Devil defense.
The options certainly are limited. 2nd down and 10 to go. Ball located at the Algonquin 27. Flip a little pass complete out into the flat. Quickly swallowed up there. I believe it was Adrianson right around the 29-yard line. It was. Down at the 30-ish. We'll see whether they give him that Bill Thomas left foot, right foot spot. They give him the right foot, so mark it on the 30-yard line. And it is third down and 7 to go.
Long 7 on top of that, Todd. And Algonquin just in quicksand right here, just not being able to generate anything big.
3rd down, 7 to go. Ball located at their own 30-yard line going left to right. A shotgun snap. Mahoney starts rolling pocket to the right, throws in, finds Hanlon in the second level complete, and Hanlon turns the corner 40-45 and angled out of bounds at the 48-yard line, gains 20, and it's a Leominster an Algonquin first down.
Nice job right there, though, rolling out, just letting his receiver work with him and traveling with him on the same plane, leading him just right out here towards the sideline. Nothing fancy on that play, except it does move the chains. One of the biggest plays Algonquin have had in the game up to this point.
And it went clean and smooth for Coach Allen's bunch. 1st and 10 at the 49 going left to right. Mahoney goes screen out of the shotgun complete. This time, once again, finds the second catch of the day for Dylan Poirier, the freshman, and he will move the football across midfield into the Leominster 46-yard line. Gains 5 on the play.
Yeah, Algonquin showing a little bit of rhythm right here. Working that short pass game. They got to do something to loosen up the Blue Devils. Once again, I think they're keen on the run, and they just can't keep smashing it up the middle.
Mahoney in a shotgun set, 3 receivers in the formation, 2 wide right. The snap for Mahoney, out of the backfield finds Terra. Terra waits and turns the corner at the right, back across midfield and reaches to the 45. A lot of effort to gain 1, 3rd down and 4.
And that effort thwarted once again by 44. I tell you, the Algonquin offensive players, the skill players, are going to get sick of seeing 44. They're going to be coming up in their nightmares tonight. But once again, Josh Cormier right on the spot.
3rd down and 4 to go. Ball located at right hash at the Leominster 45-yard line. Shotgun spread. 2 receivers on either side. Hanlon was in motion. They go to him, and the pass is ruled complete on a sliding catch made at the 41-yard line, and they say, yes, that is an Algonquin first down.
Just enough for a first down right there. Awkward-looking catch down on his knees, but somehow held on to it, moving the sticks. Algonquin got a little something going on here.
I feel like Hanlon needed like 1 more second for that play to fully develop the way it was supposed to, but it worked nonetheless, and it did achieve a Titan first down. 1st and 10 at the Leominster 41, and out of the snap with the 2-back set. The give was for Terra. Terra takes it to the line, and no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 at the 41.
Josh Cormier once again.
Mahoney under center with a 3-back set. Snap, give it to the right back. It was Hanlon. Hanlon goes right to left and off left edge, cross the 40 to the 39.
Josh Cormier once again on the tackle. I'm just going to say 44 on the tackle.
Click.
44 on the tackle. He's got to be in at least 10 tackles, most of them solo tonight.
Right now, you're lucky you're not paying him by the mention.
Oh
3rd down and 9. Man shifts in motion. It was Ellsworth. Mahoney rolls to his right and flips. Deflected and incomplete. The nearest to the football was Jared Viola, the safety.
6 Blue Devils in that zone, though, but who gets his hand on the ball?
Josh Cormier.
Josh Cormier, of all of them.
I think he should keep the pink gloves.
Oh, my God.
I'm giving it all to the pink gloves tonight.
Definitely getting recognized. Algonquin, difficult situation here, but I'm not going to guess what they're going to do. They're running personnel on and off the field, though. they got to hurry up here. They're going to bump up against the play clock.
Coach Allen is talking
with
Will Mahoney and sending him back to the huddle on 4th and 9. They'll snap from the Leominster 40-yard line. They need the Leominster 32 for a first down. 8:43 to play in the third quarter, 21-0 Leominster's advantage.
Gotta watch that hard count right here. Try to steal some yards. No,
out of the gun, Mahoney the snap. Here comes the blitz from Martin from his right. Flip downfield, and Encarnacion collides, had it in his hands.
He's got it.
And it is an interception, we believe.
They're spotting the ball there. It's got to be, otherwise they'd be going back to the line of scrimmage. I didn't see any Algonquin receivers in the area, so it's not a turnover. On downs down there.
That is correct. So it is an interception for Encarnacion, his second on the day. He looked like Bill Thomas. He got hit just as he made the interception, and as he went to the ground into the pile on the Blue Devil bench, I wasn't sure the football was separate from him.
I wasn't sure if he held on long enough, but I think he brought the ball to the ground there. Good job, but nonetheless, if he doesn't hold on to it, Blue Devils pick up 15 yards in field position, but they possess the ball.
Encarnacion's second interception on the day. The handoff for Newton on Leominster's first offensive drive of the second half. Takes it from the Leominster 30 to the 32 to gain 2. Second down and 8.
Tough 2 yards right there. Blue Devils keeping Algonquin honest here, keeping the ball on the ground.
8:13 and counting to play here in the third quarter. 21-0 Leominster's advantage, and in no apparent rush strategically. 8:05 and counting. Shotgun set here for Lopez. Trips to the open side right. One-on-one is Drinkwater. The throw. It looked like a double move there, and Lopez went for the first move short. Drinkwater was looking second move downfield and got him on the back of the hand, incomplete.
Yeah, a little inside-out play there, and Lopez looking outside, Drinkwater looking inside. No harm, no foul there. Ball falls to the turf.
3rd and 8 from the 33-yard line of Leominster. They need their own 41 for a first down. Lopez is in a shotgun set. Tight bunch trips to the boundary left. One-on-one is Aguilar on the wide side right. Back to pass Lopez. Flip it into the backfield. Finds Newton. Newton makes it to the 30 and then back to the 31. And that is going to lose yards on the play. A little screen out of the backfield. Short of the first down. It will result in a punting situation for Leominster.
Yeah, Algonquin did a good job right there. Didn't bite on all that stack to the left side. Some of the defense stayed home over there on that right side, sniffed out that screen pass, actually went for a 1-yard loss.
Mackay Newton both verbally and obviously frustrated as he comes over to the sideline with how that play developed.
I think watching Mackay, I think he's still nursing that injury. He just looks about a half a step slow, but out there battling nonetheless.
Jared Viola stands calmly at his own 20-yard line. Swinging door in front of him. Gunners will move out to the numbers. Now Viola asks for the ball. Makes a catch on a good snap. Sidewind wobble. It will hop at the 45-yard line and take a small Titan bounce where Josh Cormier will touch it down for a first and 10 for Algonquin at the 46.
What's he doing on the field of special teams?
Why not?
He's doing it all tonight.
6:53 to play in the third quarter with the clock stopped on the change of possession. Leominster's 21-0. First quarter lead, Bill Thomas, is what stands up in this one.
Oh, yeah, and I tell you, Algonquin's done a good job stemming the tide here somewhat, but, if you can't score when you have the ball, you give up one touchdown and it still makes for a long night offensively, but Algonquin's battling, got decent field position here, but still looking to break the ice on the scoreboard.
1st and 10 for Algonquin, second drive of the second half, snapping from their own 46. Under center Mahoney, give it to Ellsworth conventionally, moves it to the left of the formation, cuts back middle of the field, reaches midfield or just about, gains almost 4 on the play. It will be second down and a long 6.
Algonquin continuing to go conventional here. They showed a little bit of hurry up and they were throwing different offensive formations at the Blue Devils, trying to get them a little bit confused defensively, but kind of gone back to a regular set here, taking their time.
Man shifts in motion at the snap of the ball as Mahoney gives to Terra, and that was sniffed out immediately by Josh Cormier, who once again was there. There are 10 other defenders out there on the field.
There are, but he's the first one to the attack point, and having those pink gloves on, it's easy to pick him up getting off the bottom of the pile, and that's where he has been a lot tonight. is at that bottom of the pile, the first person on top of the ball carrier.
Leominster wearing the home royal blue tops, white bottoms trimmed in royal blue, white numerals front and back and devils across the chest. The classic Leominster white helmet with the white face mask and the single royal blue stripe up the middle, and a smattering of pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We got pink cleats on Xavier Cora. You've got Cormier with the hot pink gloves and the half a sock. Got some socks scattered all over the field as well. Great to see them supporting a great cause. Mahoney tries wheel route out of the backfield and puts it between the numbers of Hanlon. The problem was it was the back two numbers. The pass will fall incomplete.
Hanlon a little late to look back there. Wasn't quite out of his break, but the ball was already on his way. And bringing up 4th down again. And Titans stuck at midfield.
Coach Allen says, get back out there, as here comes Mahoney into his huddle with the road white tops, gold bottoms trimmed in maroon, the maroon Titan helmets with Titans in that giant script of the 90s, and a single white stripe and white face mask, and a smattering of pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month on that side as well. Mahoney back to pass, throws a wobbler out of the backfield, and there is Steve Diaz with the comeback interception. The second interception of the day for Steve Diaz.
Unfortunately, Will Mahoney comes up limping after that play, too. Took a little shot afterwards, but a lot of pressure. Blue Devils defense teeing off, and Diaz coming up with his second INT.
And let's face it, Will Mahoney, who is the sophomore quarterback, was the 3rd on the depth chart at the start of the year. Was supposed to be spending this year growing into a varsity role, and at this point has been pressed into duty. And as Coach Allen said, he's growing. He's doing a lot of learning each and every week, and tonight some more learning, and you can only hope that that is a nothing thing as he heads off to the sideline. Braden Martin gets the first down carry for Leominster into the numbers as a pink flag flies. Comes down around the 47-yard line, and the indication initially is a hold against Leominster.
Yeah, going to mock him back, but pretty clean game up to this point, Todd. Not a lot of flags, a couple of holds here and there, but for the most part, officials keeping the flags in their pockets.
5:12 to play here in the third quarter, 21-0 Leominster's advantage. 4 interceptions on the day, 2 for Ricky Encarnacion and 2 for Steve Diaz.
And I think
for Leominster,
3 of those might have been on 4th down attempts.
It may be.
These 2 right here, and I believe one closing out the first half might have been also a 4th down prayer, but INTs nonetheless.
After the enforcement, it ends up being a 1st down and 12, as from the mark of the foul, 10 yards back, put Leominster right around their own 36-yard line.
Braden Martin again picking up a couple there. But, yeah, you're right, Todd. That hold was almost at the end of the run here where the first down marker was. So a little confusing, but it didn't make it 1st and 20 because it was a spot foul and not a line of scrimmage foul.
Correct. So Martin gains back what was lost and then some. So a 2nd down and 9 as Leominster sits at their own 38-yard line at left hash. Shotgun snap, Lopez looks slant coming back from his right. It is caught by Ricky Encarnacion out of the slot right, and he rolls to a stop at the Leominster 49 after gaining 10, and the Blue Devil drive advances.
Well, he looks beat up. He looks like he's played 3 games. From that first play when he broke 3 or 4 tackles, had half his uniform ripped off, and I tell you, he's laying it all out on the field tonight.
4:18 to play here in the third. 1st and 10 Leominster, their own 49. Middle of the field. The high shotgun snap. Handoff is for Braden Martin, who makes himself small crossing midfield. 45, go 40, and angled out of bounds at the Titan 35-yard line. It's a gain of 16 on the slash to the left by Braden Martin.
I tell you, how much Martin improving week in and week out. And you saw that little shoulder dip right there as he approached the line of scrimmage, just preparing for that contact that never came, but still continuing with that momentum and turning the corner full speed.
1st and 10, and give it to Martin again, this time into the A gap, across the 35, advances toward the 31-yard line, gains 5. It'll be a 2nd down and 5.
We haven't seen much of Braden here tonight, but he's been the feature running back the last couple of games, getting a little break tonight, and Mackay making it somewhat of a comeback, but showing his skills here in the second half.
3:35 and counting here in the third, 21-0. Leominster's advantage, and the Blue Devils looking to get a second half score. The shotgun snap. Lopez gives it for Cora. Cora takes it out to the numbers left. 25, then 20. Up to the 15 and down around the 12-yard line. Xavier Cora gains 20 on the play, and it's a Leominster first down.
Wow, mix and matching these running backs and just chewing up yardage here no matter who's behind Lopez or standing beside. Nice job right here.
3 receivers, 2 wide right. The shotgun snap, Lopez. There's that slant coming from the right. Find Encarnacion again, and he battles toward the 5. It'll be second down and goal to go from the 5 after gaining 5.
Nice job right there, quick hitter, and I'd love to see him work on that time and play. And, you know, those long bombs look pretty, those 50-50 balls, but those skill passes right there, it's timing, it's skill, it's on the spot. You know, there's nothing luck about converting that kind of play into positive yardage.
2:40 and counting here in the third quarter. Lopez on second down and goal to go from the Algonquin 5. The shotgun snap, give it to Cora. He slashes into the A gap, battles his way toward the goal line. Leominster sideline wants the touchdown for Cora, and he's not going to get it. He will gain 4, and he'll have third down and a yard to go.
Leominster going quick here.
Right back to the line. Cora in the backfield, out of a gun, scanning and asking for the ball. It's Lopez. Give it to Cora for the payoff. Into the teeth of the defense. He is short of the goal line still. Fourth down and goal to go from the 1/2 yard line.
Stood up by the Algonquin, center of the Algonquin defense there. Can't get a number, but good job at the goal line by Algonquin, standing up the Leominster Blue Devils and just not giving up these 6 points.
1:55 and counting to play here in the third. 21-0 Leominster's advantage. Fourth down and goal to go from the 1/2 yard line, and Leominster is going to go for it here deep in Titan territory.
Looks like snowplow time here, and they're going to talk about this when I see Ricky was lining up for a direct snap.
Coach Devin Gates looks at the sideline official working his sideline and asks for the timeout. Stopping the clock, 1:40 to play here in the third quarter, and Leominster facing a no-brainer choice here. I mean, your other option would be a field goal. Punting is certainly not in the option. So do you take the 3 points with Thompson, who struggled kicking into this end in the first half, or do you go for it with that snowplow or something else, maybe a little play action?
I think you go for it, Todd. You know, whether it's some play action or roll out or run that snowplow right up the middle. Been pretty successful, but a lot of things go wrong here on a chancy field goal attempt that you really don't need the points, and nothing worse would be to have them block something, run it 7 the other way, and change momentum.
So happy to have you along with us on RFM Audio, wherever you are, across the region or around the globe, streaming via YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch, with our television partners at Leominster TV, on Comcast and Verizon Cable, and streaming at Leominster.tv, and our radio partners in delay, 95.1 FM, WLPZ FM, and Tucka56radio.com. We are all so pleased to work together to support the student athletes and institutions as the legendary soundtrack of football in Central Mass continues right here on RFM Audio. A stretch formation here with a wide trips to the boundary right on fourth down and goal to go. Play action fake, the slant for Drinkwater from the left, in and out of his hands, incomplete, and it's a turnover on downs, and the ball will go back to the Titans. 95 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Trying to work on something right there and, put that in the playbook for the future, but just a little quick right there. Couldn't get it right where Drinkwater needed it to be. I think he led him a little too much right there, Todd, but tell you, 99 yards, and Algonquin not showing much ability to put a drive together, make a few first downs here and there, but a tall task right here with, minute 35 left here in this third quarter.
21-0 first quarter post for Leominster is what continues to lead as we round the backstretch here in this one. First and 10 Algonquin, their own 1 yard line going left to right. Mahoney the snap, the give goes into the pile. It was Terra on the play for the short gain of 2, maybe 3. Move the ball out to the 5 yard line. It'll be second down and 7.
Yeah, nothing fancy about what you're trying to do right here. You're just trying to get yourself some room, get your heels off your goal line.
Huddling in their own end zone, walking out to their own 5, moving left to right. Mahoney with the pink towel in front of him, heads up under center with a 2-back split behind him. Mahoney scans the line, asks for the ball. The give is for Terra, who gave up the football at the 5 yard line. And it is Ricky Encarnacion who comes up with the football. A fumble recovery to go with 2 interceptions, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and a partridge in a pear tree for Ricky Encarnacion.
And the only thing that surprises me is that Josh Cormier didn't recover that fumble. But Great defensive exchange right there, and Blue Devils found a way to get the ball out and get on top of it.
What a way to spend your 18th birthday for Ricky Encarnacion.
I tell you, between him and Josh Cormier, they're having a game of their lives. But Ricky set the tone with that first series, and Josh has just continued to bring it, and a couple of great players on the field tonight.
So Leominster right back on the field with a first down and goal to go at the 10-yard line.
Now you pay Ricky off here, right?
Shotgun snap. Lopez looks for a wide-open Encarnacion with the payoff pitch and catch for 6 more.
Not that I was in the huddle, Todd, but you could almost sniff that one. You
and
can smell that one coming.
Wide open out to the left of the formation.
You could almost, they ran trips over here on the left. Ricky got lost in the coverage, but Lopez looked for him right from the snap, and I don't think there was any surprise that he was going to pay Ricky off right there if he could.
46 seconds left here in the third quarter. It's 27-0. Leominster on top of Algonquin, point after pending. Dan Thompson will kick from right to left. Struggled a little bit in the first half, as we mentioned, kicking in this direction.
No trouble kicking up into the hillside over here, the upper field side.
Wind is quiet as he gets set to kick from right to left. Aguilar will hold. Snap, put the ball down on the tee. Thompson gets the toe under it, lifts it to the bar, and splits the uprights. Back upfield come the teams. 46 seconds left here in the third quarter. It's Leominster 28 and Algonquin nothing. And I feel like the important part of that one, Bill Thomas, was that Leominster scored in the second half. 21 first half points, 21 first quarter points were really fantastic, but that drought was starting to be concerning.
Yeah, and Algonquin played a great second quarter right there, and even playing this third quarter, playing the Blue Devils even, and but just not being able to put anything together and putting the ball on the ground right there. Blue Devils taking immediate advantage of it, but after putting their own drive together, coming up 1 yard short, still found a way to pay off here in the third quarter.
Kate Robbins is back in Studio P at RFM HQ. Kate, you've got the Leominster drive summary.
No, it's not a tough one. 10 yards, Ricky Encarnacion in one play for the touchdown right now. Leominster Blue Devils on top big.
Hey, it's a wide open pitch and catch and a wide open stat recap as well for Kate. Back in the studio.
The only thing I wasn't sure of is if Osiris was going to overthrow Ricky. He was so wide open, but good job right there. Ricky did a good job catching it, getting his feet in bounds.
Thompson's kick goes end over end from right to left downfield. It will be returned by the Titans back across their own 25 to the 27-yard line. Nice return there by Max Egan, the sophomore.
Good job by Jared Viola. Looked like Mackay Newton there, both down on the tackle.
Tonight's broadcast of high school football and RFM audio will be rebroadcast in its entirety via our partners at Tucka 56 Radio. Navigate your way to live365.com and bookmark Tucka 56 Radio. That's TUCKA 56 Radio for a weekly encore presentation of tonight's complete broadcast beginning each Sunday at noon. Plus Wednesdays at 8 p.m. RFM's Coach's Corner with head coach Devin Gates. All of that on Tucka 56 Radio and Tucka56Radio.com. Terra on the first down carry for no gain for the Titans. It will be second down and 10 to go. Ball at the 27-yard line, and it looks like
they moved
Coach Allen.
They gave me a yard.
Oh, they gave me a yard. So it'll be second and 9. When we continue, because Coach Allen is keeping Will Mahoney with him, the final ticks of the third quarter come off the clock. Teams change ends, the all-important fourth and final quarter when we continue. It's Leominster 28 and Algonquin nothing. Through 3 quarters, let's send it back to RFM HQ once again. Kate Robbins standing by. Kate, your stats through 3 quarters.
Right now, stats coming up. Leominster coming up roses right now. Osiris Lopez, 9 of 14. He has completed passes to now 5 different receivers. He has 79 yards passing. He's averaging 8.8 yards per pitch and catch right now. Notable, Ricky Encarnacion, he's the all-everything. On the offensive stat sheet, I can tell you he's got 3 receptions for 22 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns on the night already. We know that he's been absolutely stellar on defense as well, and he's also made contributions to the rushing attack as well, 81 yards to his name there. He's all everything. We're happy he's back.
All right, Kate, thank you so much. And
let's not forget a fumble recovery, too, Kate.
That's right, added just recently to the pile.
Find a spot
well,
for that.
That's not enough. Algonquin 2nd and 9. As they change directions, they'll go right to left here in the 4th. Mahoney got the handoff into the belly of Terra. Terra crossed the 30 to the 31, but more importantly, Mahoney, Bill Thomas, is gutting this one out. He came up peg-legged out of that handoff.
Yeah, it's nice to see him back on the field, and but playing tough, playing through injuries.
Taking a look at the power ratings, Bill Thomas coming into tonight's action in Division 2. Milford, of course, tops the standings. They are 4-0 through 5 weeks. They've got the full margin of 14 points on their side. Their opponent rating, 10.5 for a commanding 24.5 lead as the pass is thrown out to the right, and Mahoney got whacked for his efforts.
And Ricky made his acquaintance known in the backfield there, too. Ricky and Canasio
safety blitz coming
came
through the
in
middle.
Totally unblocked, and it's going to bring up 4th down here. I think Algonquin's going to have to punt the ball away.
Alex Klein will come out onto the field. Peabody, of course, who beat Leominster last week, 5-0 coming into the night. They also have the full margin complement, and their opponent rating just shy of 7 at 6.9. Their overall rating, 20.8. You move your way down to find Leominster at number 12. 4-1 coming into the night, an 8.5 average margin of victory. An opponent rating now in the positive, 2.2 for a 10.5 power rating as Klein gets the snap, sends the punt deep into the Doyle Field night, and it will be returned by Ricky Encarnacion in his own 35, finds a little window to the 40 and then the 43 before being tackled there, and it'll be a Leominster 1st down and 10 at their own 43-yard line, going left to right. 11-13 to play here in the 4th with a 28-0 advantage.
Nice job on the punt there, 35 yards and 5-yard return for Ricky.
Chasing Leominster in that 13th position, Westford Academy at a just shy of 10, 9.7 overall rating. A little bit below them, then you have Quincy at 14, Bishop Fian at 15, Bridgewater Raynham would be last one in, North Andover would be first one out if the playoffs started tonight. Leominster, Bill Thomas with a little bit of comfort, as on 1st and 10, the give is for Newton, and Newton will take it into open space at the right, 45 midfield and down at the Algonquin 48-yard line, gains just about 10, call it 9.5.
Doesn't look like they're moving the chains, came up a little short right there.
10:55 to play in the 4th.
Nice job by Newton, though. Running a little better.
Shotgun snap for Lopez. Give it to Newton this time, and Newton dances into the line. He was met almost immediately, but pushed the pile, crossed the 46 to the Algonquin 45, and it is a 1st down on a gain of 3.
Nice job right there, pushing the pile. As you said, Todd, Newton taking his time, finding his hole, waiting for his blocks to set up, but doing a good job of moving the chains.
Slow,
got an injury on the
slow
field
to
there,
get
Todd.
up on the play there. It is a Titan. Getting a good look at the number. It's 4. Natolo Magliolino, tight end and linebacker, slow to get up, and the coaching staff comes off the sideline. But Bill Thomas, I was saying, Leominster, they've got a little bit of pad. They're not just into the playoffs. They're 4 spots into the playoffs, even though they went from 9 to 12 coming into tonight's action, which we talked about in pregame. But you can't rest on your laurels here. The math, as Algonquin found last year, with a 6-2 finish and found themselves outside looking in for this 16-team postseason in Division 2. You've got to make sure you are there. And the things you can control are your own rating, which is to get it as close to 14 as it could. Leominster had a perfect 14-point margin through 4 weeks.
They can't get back to that now.
Can't get back to that now. They're at 8.5 after last week's loss of a 42-20 score to Peabody. But another 28-0 plus here with 10.5 still to go in the 4th quarter.
They're doing everything.
Trying to push the number up again.
They're doing everything they can do in their part, but still – they got the quarter to finish off here, but two tough games to finish out the season against Shrewsbury and Wachusett, and nothing's a given at this point.
That's
Todd.
right. Natolo Magliolino, the good news, up and able to jog off under his own power, but still looked a little gimpy going into the sideline. But again, that's good news that he's up and moving, as it certainly has not always broke that way for Algonquin this year. 1st and 10 from the Algonquin 45 for Leominster. The shotgun snap, give it to Newton. Newton will take it out to the right. Flag flies in from behind the play, down around the Leominster 47-yard line as Newton moves the football to the 41, and the signal is a hold against Leominster.
There'll be a line of scrimmage foul here, so it'll be a 10-yard penalty, march off.
Clock stopped while they have the enforcement. 10:07 to play here in the fourth quarter, and a 28-0 Leominster advantage. You mentioned it, Bill Thomas. Wachusett is in here at Doyle Field next week. We have triple confirmation. It is both homecoming and senior night here at Doyle Field.
That's it?
It is homecoming and senior night, also known as Dick Tucker night here at Doyle Field. He's got a lot of announcements to fit in, a lot of pregame ceremony.
They gave him 15 minutes to get it all in.
Of course they did. The man has 40-plus years on the job here at historic Doyle Field. He's a professional. He'll figure it out. Back to pass. It's Lopez. He flips it out complete into the hands of Drinkwater, and Drinkwater gets driven to the turf after the play. One flag goes up. Another one joins the fray on the way into the sideline.
I'm not sure he was out of bounds when the extracurricular activity took place, but a little too aggressive, I think, and looks like a Titan on the down.
Is the one that's down and not getting back up. Drinkwater hopped up, although hobbled.
Somebody was on the ground there, and Drinkwater got pushed over him. He could end up on the bottom of the pile. Looking for a trainer here, and can't get a number, Todd, unfortunately. Let me see your binocs.
Now, it looks like Coach Allen right there on the spot.
Let's see what we get.
9:31 to play here in the fourth quarter. 28-0 Leominster's lead. So we mentioned Wachusett comes in here next week. Bill Thomas, such an important game. The homecoming, you got the senior night. But more importantly, it is a massively important football game. A win for Leominster all but guarantees they would have enough points to qualify for the postseason and probably solidify a decent, somewhere in that mid-16 range in that postseason. Meanwhile, a loss wouldn't necessarily deter them one way or another, but of course, creates questions. Quality losses do figure into the conversation, but would make that Shrewsbury game in Week 8 massively important and must-win for Leominster to guarantee a postseason spot.
It would. I mean, we know Wachusett's having a great season. There's points there to be had, win or lose. Of course, you want to win. But they got points on the backside. Shrewsbury is really going to be the game that makes or break the season, especially if you're in playoff contention. Now you want a home game. So we'll have to see how the next two games play out.
Two very important football games to close out the first 8 weeks as Lopez goes back to pass. Drinkwater open down the sideline. Lopez to Drinkwater for 6 more. A 35-yard pitch and catch. Lopez to Drinkwater, and 8:54 to play here in the fourth quarter. 34-0. Leominster on top of Algonquin.
I was wondering if you would get to use that phrase tonight, but you did. 8:40 and the clock is running, Todd.
Indeed it
We
is.
got that magic number has
crossed
been
that
met.
30-point margin in the fourth quarter, and the clock begins to run.
But you're right, Lopez to Drinkwater once again.
Dan Thompson for the point after, kicking toward the upper field. Aguilar to hold. He'll be kicking from left to right, and the wind direction is flat. Snap. Aguilar gets the ball down on the place-kicking tee, and Thompson is no good.
Wide right, I think, Todd.
It must have just slipped wide
Came
to
to
the
the
right. Back upfield come the teams.
Clock
8 minutes and counting in running time here in the fourth. It is 34-0 Leominster's lead as they waved off that point after.
Got 35 on the scoreboard.
They did.
Somebody hit a button erroneously, I think.
Kate Robbins is standing back at RFM HQ. And Kate, you've got the Leominster drive summary.
I certainly do, gentlemen. We had a 5-play drive. It lasted 2 minutes, covered 58 total yards. Ends with a 35-yard touchdown reception by the freshman Caden Drinkwater. Extra point, no good. 34-0 Leominster, but we're in running time.
The question mark, Kate, is certainly fair, to say the least. Ball goes down on the tee, 40-yard line at our left, and Dan Thompson will walk off the distance. Thompson checks both sides of the line. He is on the approach. Right leg line drive, and it goes rolling across the 30 to the 27, where Toussaint will attempt a return. He avoids a wrap tackle, and then staying on his feet, coughs up the football and down around the 40-yard line, and there is Braden Martin on top of it for Leominster.
Nice job right there, but fighting. Toussaint is, and ends up coughing up the ball on one of those spin moves.
Running time, 6.5 minutes and counting here in the fourth quarter. 34-0 Leominster's advantage. And the Blue Devils offense is back out on the field.
Great field position here. See if we got some different numbers on the field. I see, looks like 30 through, what do we got for running back? Looks like we got
Xavier Cora back there.
Dominic Swain's out there.
At
the
tight end spot for Cormier. Flag is out on the play as Cora gets the handoff. He'll take it off right edge, cross the 40, and reach up toward the 36-yard line. It's all for naught. It's a hold coming from behind the play.
Gonna bring it back 10 yards.
See the warm-up over here on the sideline, Bill Thomas, and it is Josh Liebert warming up to come in at quarterback. He's getting some center snaps with Tyler Witzgow over here on the sideline.
Good time to get some snaps, like you say, some live snaps, but not just practice snaps. And nothing like game action.
Warming up the arm with Drew Harriman. As the handoff on first down and long goes straight up the middle of the field for Cora.
I believe it was.
It was. Moves it back to the 40-yard line of the Titans. Gains the 10 that was lost on the hold, and back to the original line, 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, nice run right there. Makes this a manageable downs now. A couple of downs here. See if they can't move the chains and possibly run out the clock here. Keep the ball away from Algonquin.
3 receivers in the formation. 2 tight to the boundary left. Snap. Give it for Cora again. Cora takes it off the right side of center, crossing the 40 and moving up toward the 37. Gains about 5 more. Faces a 3rd down and 5 as the clock continues to wither away on another Leominster victory. Let's bring Kate Robbins back in. Kate, questions abound across the region. What are the other scores that are going to influence this one? What do you have on the scoreboard?
Oh, we've got all sorts of things going on at the moment. We've got Assabet running up the score right now, 32-21 in the fourth. Out of Holden, however, we had a halftime score, 40-0, Wachusett over on top of Shepherd Hill at the half. Grafton squeaks out a victory over Shrewsbury, 13-12 your final there.
And that was a comeback victory for Grafton over Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury had the early 6-0 lead. Grafton comes back for that victory. But Kate, that notable score, that Wachusett buzzsaw, is scheduled here at Doyle Field next week, leading Shepherd Hill 40-0 at the half. As we
Tucker McDonald's has been absolutely on fire.
They have been on it here for sure, Kate, averaging 40-plus a game, and there'll be some fireworks next week, I'm sure.
First team offense comes off the field, and Corin Sullivan, the right guard with the best celebration of them all, takes a bow over here into the sideline.
Deservedly so. They played great tonight.
On 1st and 10, Liebert at the quarterback spot. Give it to Cora. Cora wraps around left end, crossed the 30 and spun down at the 26-yard line. Gains 4.
Nice job, Cora, getting some work here as the feature runner in the fourth quarter. Picking up some good chunks.
3:20 and counting here in this fourth. Leominster's lead is 34-0.
See some different numbers out there right now on offense.
Steve Diaz just brought the play into Liebert off the sideline.
Aaron Christopher over here at wide receiver.
Yeah, Aaron Christopher.
Saw him
modifying your programs, wearing 41,
Elias,
not 4.
Mimi Elias.
No, Memi Elias. Memi Elias. We've watched him grow up, Bill Thomas. 2nd down and 7 to go. Liebert checks Diaz in motion, tries the little flip. Diaz plays it on the one-hop knee high. He'll wrap. He's grabbed by the jersey, and Diaz will be stopped up on the play by the Algonquin defense. But nice job by Diaz to maintain his concentration. Usually when the ball hits the turf, you want to fall on it. Somehow, that ball wobbling on end, he found it and kept running.
Yeah, it came up to him somehow. Another injured Titan here. I think that was 65, Todd, if I got his number. Although I don't see a 65 on the plate, on the roster here. But one of the linemen, I believe, got rolled over on there at the end of the play.
The officials have talked to Coach Allen.
See, they allowing the clock to run. Usually injuries, they stop the clock.
They will stop the clock.
Maybe they asked him.
Technically speaking,
what they wanted to do here. He probably just.
The Massachusetts rule does not make a designation for stopping the clock in running time for an injury. They never voted to actually make that rule modification. The crew chief is looking at Coach Mark Allen, looking for him to just wave off the rest of the game because he figures that if the clock is allowed to continue to run, the final 93 seconds are going to come off the board, and now
I think that's going to be it.
The officials are going to wave the game off. So this one is over.
It.
Final score here from historic Doyle Field. Leominster 34 and Algonquin nothing. Blue Devils will improve to 5-1. Algonquin falls to 1-5.
Still tending to the injured player over here.
Indeed they are, and that's probably the important
try to get you a
notes.
number. He's getting up 50. I think it's got a 5. Well, let's not guess, Todd.
Bradley trying to get a look at that. Saw a great collegial handshake. There's great respect among these coaching staffs. Leominster head coach Devin Gates with Mark Allen over here while they were tending to the injured player.
55.
Was 55.
Yep.
Bill Thomas slow to get up on that one. Dominic Fralicciardi, the sophomore lineman.
Nice to see him walking off. I think he got the wind knocked out of him.
That's right.
Walking off under his own power.
Walking off with Coach Allen and bringing this one to a conclusion. Leominster 5-1 through 6 weeks with another definitive victory here at home turf.
Great show of offensive power and playing defense like we've seen him get after it the first 4 games. PB was a bump in the road, but it's great to see him bounce back this way. This could have fell into what a lot of people characterize as a trap game, and they could have overlooked Algonquin based on past performances the first month of the season here. But Blue Devils came to play, make a statement, and get past that PBD loss, and let's move forward.
And they did with authority, a 34-0 victory here tonight to improve to 5-1. Algonquin falls to 1-5, and I think fair to say for Algonquin, who were 29th in the power ratings coming into tonight, very likely going to have slid off the charts. So for them, they will be looking at, of course, that second season that is those crossover matchups ahead. They'll play their 10 games plus their Thanksgiving matchup to come ahead as well with Westboro on Thanksgiving Thursday, November the 24th. Meanwhile, for Leominster, the goal continues in front of them. Qualify for the Division II playoffs. And an authoritative win tonight, like we said, Bill Thomas will improve that number, will improve that margin of victory, combined with an improved opponent rating. And, of course, Leominster's numbers, hopefully, will continue to keep them somewhere around that 12, maybe 11, 10, possibly, as they will be 5-1 going into the power ratings of next week.
I think they're firmly entrenched in that top 10, top 12. But you can't stop winning at this point. This numbers could flip over easily. That bottom 6 or 8 can go any way. And you don't want to be left out of the top 16 with a winning record and have somebody, sneak in behind you with a 3-5 or a 4-4. And much like, it happened to Algonquin last year. We can't say it enough. But Leominster can take care of business. Algonquin couldn't take care of their own business last year. They ended up trapped, basically, with their schedule. Leominster's got everything to look forward to. They just got to take care of their own business, and everything will fall into place for them.
Indeed, it will. 34-0 Leominster, a winner tonight over Algonquin. Blue Devils 5-1, Algonquin 1-5. For those of you that are joining us on Leominster TV, thank you so very much for spending your evening with us. Leominster TV will have your replays throughout the weekend and on into next week. Thank Bradley Bedard, bring you the great pictures here tonight at Doyle Field. And you could join us next Friday night here on Leominster TV, the countdown to kickoff. They will join at 6:30, channels of Comcast, Verizon, as well as Leominster.tv for senior night, homecoming, and more importantly, Leominster and Wachusett right here on Doyle Field in a clash of Central Mass powers this season.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. We had the chance to see Wachusett in a loss against Franklin. They still look just as strong in a loss that night. Tucker McDonald was a little off, but he's really found his stride, as Kate mentioned a few minutes ago. And, he's headed to a D1 school for a reason, and he's playing like it. He's playing up to expectations, and it's going to be a tall task next week for the Blue Devils defense and their offense to match what Wachusett can bring offensively. I think they're singing Happy Birthday to Ricky Encarnacion.
They are. The crowd down on the field
bands out there.
Happy birthday to Ricky Encarnacion, who did it with gusto tonight as the student section, his teammates, and the band all surrounded Ricky Encarnacion to celebrate his return, his 18th birthday, and a phenomenal football performance tonight.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more from a great young man, and we don't expect anything less from him. We saw what he can bring to the field, what kind of person he is, and he's a team leader, and he was sorely missed last week, and he was really appreciated this week.
Indeed he was. For those of you joining us on Leominster TV, it's time now for you to grab your smart-enabled device or open your favorite digital media app. We've got so much more to come here on RFM Audio. Our post-game extra is coming up next. Once again, final score, Leominster 34 and Algonquin nothing. For Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, Bradley Bedard of Leominster TV, I am Todd Robbins. For those of you joining us on Leominster TV, we say so long until next week. Continue right along with us here on RFM Audio, where the postgame comes your way next. It's Leominster 34, Algonquin nothing. A break and we're back with more. Stay tuned for the postgame extra right here. This is high school football on RFM Audio.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
More than 270,000 students from nearly 370 MIAA member schools will participate in over 100,000 high school sports competitions this year. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association encourages you to support your local high school athletic programs and the students who participate in them. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, building the future through educational athletics.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the MIAA, are the 227,000 high school sports students in Massachusetts. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, soccer and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, administrators, and officials. We stand for the swimmers, football players, and wrestlers. We stand for the golfers, softball, and volleyball players. We stand as the national leader and advocate for high school athletics and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
The aims, the organization, and the policies of the MIAA are based on the philosophy that interscholastic activities, although a privilege and not a right, are important parts of the educational process. They should be encouraged, directed, and supported by a statewide organization. This organization's leaders should be representative of the state's schools and promote the further development of students' health and well-being. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association urges your support of this philosophy through your attendance at all local and state events. The MIAA and all its member institutions thank you. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, building the future through educational athletics.
This is Bob Sosi, the voice of New England football, for the best high school football action in North Central Mass, featuring our award-winning broadcast team of Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, and Kate Robbins. Keep it right here.
Time now for our post-game extra back here at historic Doyle Field. Leominster with a 34-0 victory over Algonquin tonight. We've got so much coming up for you as we are just getting started. Because the play-by-play action has ended does not mean the entire story has come to an end. We cap this post-game extra with the most comprehensive post-game scoreboard from across the region. Kate Robbins is standing by, aggregating all of those tweets with scores from around the region. We'll have that post-game scoreboard for you coming up, as well as our complete stat recap. Bill Thomas and I will hand out our game balls along with Kate for our players of the game, and the final scoreboard comes your way as we head into the night. But back here at historic Doyle Field, I am joined up here on press row, joined by Leominster linebacker and tight end Josh Cormier. Josh, great to have you with us here tonight, and a great win for the Blue Devils tonight, 34-0.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a nice game. 34-0 is just awesome every time you see it.
It's the comeback you all were looking for. Last week's 42-20 loss was certainly basically being given a taste of your own medicine through the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But you came back here tonight and you left no doubt in this contest.
Yeah, we're on a revenge tour right now. Every game that we've had over these years, we've gotten beat by these teams, and now we're really kicking ass tonight.
No question about that. You improve in the last now 10 meetings. Leominster's record over Algonquin 9-1 in the aggregate, but Algonquin had the last win in the series, which was last fall.
Mm-hmm.
Leominster will now pick up the most recent win. I want to talk to you about your night tonight, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. We got to the point where we were a little bit giggling about this because it seemed like every single play you were there. What did you see tonight? Somehow you found your way to the football no matter where it was.
I mean, I got to give it to the big guys up front that left the holes wide open that made it easy for me to get in there. I got in there every time because of them. I mean, the hole was massive. I read it, and then it fell right into my hands basically.
Seemed like you were where you needed to be when you needed to be there. Let's talk about Ricky Encarnacion's night. He has a phenomenal night returning to action for the team, and a great way to cap off your 18th birthday with a stat line that's going to take multiple pages.
Yeah, I know. He's an amazing player. I mean, I love the guy. Yeah, I mean, I missed him last week, and I'm so proud that he's back this week and still working, and he's just doing awesome.
Let's talk about this season at large. You're 5-1 at this point, and I think maybe more important than that is you all have epitomized that phrase that you all started with, being locked in. You guys have been locked in since the jump, and tonight was evidence of it, a wire-to-wire victory.
Yeah, I mean, we came back from a loss. Back in the past, that was an effect to us that we couldn't come back from a loss, and that really showed us tonight that we are locked in, we are ready. And we are ready to win games, and we are ready to make the playoffs this year. Josh,
you've earned the right to enjoy this one, but I'm going to ask you a question about next week. Wachusett is on the offing. They've been the big dog in the yard now for a decade.
Yep.
Wachusett is the team you'll turn your focus to this weekend.
They're a really good team, good competition. I mean, but I ain't scared. Revenge tour, like I said, they've been using us like tools these last couple of years, and I'm ready to come back and play a better game than I played tonight against them.
Josh Cormier is selling T-shirts for the Revenge Tour tonight as we get set for action. I think we'll have to have some marks on those T-shirts as well. Josh, thank you so much for stopping by. Good luck the rest of the way.
Anytime, man.
And thank you. Appreciate it. The tour continues right up here as well as Leominster High School head coach Devin Gates joins us here on Press Row. Bill Thomas will get him a headset as well as we continue. Coach, some minor technical difficulties kept us from talking to Leominster head coach Devin Gates prior to kick off tonight, but we're glad to have him coming here post-game as he walks his way in the door, exchanges hugs with Josh Cormier after a phenomenal night. And Coach, as you sit down to join us here, I mean, point number one was heading out the door. I said to Josh, I said it on the broadcast, wherever the ball went tonight defensively, there was Josh Cormier, and it wasn't just the pink gloves that we noticed.
I'm so proud of him. I mean, he's put in so much work. He's kind of been an unsung guy in there, and today he just took the bull by the horns and just was after every ball. It was phenomenal to see. So excited for him. He had a great game. It's
a lot of fun to watch when a player reaches that point and the breakout happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's had a lot of trials and tribulations trying to get there, and I think all the work that he's put in the offseason, the last couple of years, being up and down sometimes. I mean, everything just kind of came to a culmination tonight, and without a doubt played his best game at Doyle, or even just in a Blue Devil uniform.
No question about that. This was an Algonquin team that, of course, we had said prior to the game, preseason, that they had incredibly high hopes and a massively high ceiling. Injuries certainly have affected the way their season has gone, because that's certainly not the Algonquin team we expected to see. It wasn't the Algonquin team that we saw in week 4 either. Those first couple of weeks really took their toll on Coach Allen's team, but they're still out there battling. They found ways to give your offense fits at points.
Yeah, that's a tough team up there. And number 4 linebacker, his name escapes me right now, but he gave us fits in the first half. We made some adjustments in the second half, but they played hard. That's the core of who they are. That's always who they're going to be, despite any injuries that come up. So they have the next man up mentality too, and it just hasn't gone their way since like week 2. So But Coach Allen's a great guy. Coach Notice, the defensive coordinator, is a great guy. Good coaches, and wish them the best of luck. We've been there before. We've had injuries that kind of snowball, and all you just one after another, and that's kind of what they're going through right now. So you feel for them. They'll bounce back. They're tough kids, they're tough coaches, and we wish them the best of luck.
Your offense tonight certainly continued its torrid pace. At points, like I said, there was a dry spell. You score 21 in the first quarter, and then there's a bit of a dry spell. Goes through the second and on into the third, and gives you those coachable moments in a 34-0 football game.
Yeah, we had some sloppy execution, in the second quarter and the third quarter. That fourth and goal, we should have scored down there. Thankfully, defense got the ball back for us, and then we put it away then. But yeah, we just missed on some things. And some things I got to call better too. They did a good job of mixing up their coverage and playing some, kind of stuff that we hadn't seen on film a little bit. So it took a little while to adjust to that. But a lot of that's, in that second and third quarter is on me in terms of what we're calling there. But the kids went out and just executed what we had to do. We'll correct it on film on Monday and get back out there and just start preparing for Wachusett.
How about the night of the return of Ricky Encarnacion? You talk about that might be the name of the concert tour, the return of Ricky Encarnacion, and tonight it returned with a vengeance to the football field. We've talked about it a million.
Not to say that we don't have other special kids on our football team, but Rick, in a team of special kids, Rick stands out as an extra special kid, and I joke with him too. He's got more integrity than some adults that I know. He's mature beyond his years. He's weathered a lot of things over the last week or so, and just very happy that he came out and got back out here with his friends and was able to produce. It was a great night for Ricky, great for the football program. Just really happy to have him with us.
I've seen a lot of special things over the years on these broadcasts, and winning games, losing games, but I have never seen a student section pour out to celebrate with their team to sing happy birthday to a member of the student body who happened to be the guy who had the best night for the football team.
Yeah, Ricky and Steven Diaz was his birthday today.
Oh, was it? No kidding.
They shared the same day.
Okay.
So, but they're all out there in support of both those guys, and it's like that because of the way they are with the student body. They're leaders in school. They're not the guys that are going to go and cause trouble or anything like that at all. They represent everything that's good about Leominster High School, everything that's good about the student body at Leominster High School, everything that's good about being a student athlete. That's what they represent, and that's why the kids gravitate to them. Either the kids on the team, the kids in the building. And we always talk about we got to do what's right, athletically, academically, and socially. And those guys, especially Ricky, does that to a T all the time. He's just the ultimate representative for that.
Well, Diaz didn't do bad on his birthday either. A couple of interceptions as well. Certainly can't complain about that either. Coach, of course, we'll get more into it on the Coach's Corner on Monday, but I can't let you go without asking the question. Big dog in the yards here next week. It's Wachusett and Leominster. It's seemingly the grudge match the season has developed to. Certainly Wachusett was expected to be in this place. Mm-hmm. You certainly preseason might not have been expected, but have declared very loudly that you all are a serious contending football team, and the clash comes next week.
We got a lot of work to do. They're a really good football team, offensively, defensively. You're going to see another quarterback probably even better than Shea Lynch last week for Peabody, and he's got a lot of weapons, and Tucker McDonald, and we've got our work cut out for us. But we're up for the challenge. We've gone up to that school 3 or 4 years in a row now, and just taking it on the chin. And our guys are sick of that. So they got a lot to prove. They're excited about it. We're going to enjoy this one, tonight and tomorrow, and then, it's all about Wachusett after that. So we know the task that's in front of us, what kind of team they are, what kind of, how they're made up. And we got a lot of work to do, but we're up for the challenge.
Well, you've got a couple days to enjoy this one. Leominster High School head coach Devin Gates joining us here post-game tonight. Coach, thank you so much for coming up and giving us a couple minutes. Talk to you on Monday night on the Coach's Corner right here on these same RFM platforms. Coach, take care. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it with the family.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
No worries. That's Leominster High School head coach Devin Gates here on Press Row tonight here on RFM Audio Postgame. Great to have you with us. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins is back at HQ. She's standing by with the stats and scores from around the region tonight. And we'll get Bill Thomas's thoughts in a moment. Let's bring Kate Robbins in from RFM HQ. Kate, you're standing by. Let's get those complete game stats of Leominster's 34-0 victory.
Oh, game stats first. Here we go. So if we take a look at Algonquin's side of the ball first, just switching screens here. Let's do actually team totals first. Leominster, 390 total yards of offense, 119 yards passing, 271 yards rushing, and 42 plays on offense. They did, however, have a turnover. They possessed the ball for 21 and 1/2 minutes. On the Algonquin side of the ball, 145 total yards of offense, 80 coming via the pass, 65 coming via the rush, 52 plays on offense, but 5 turnovers on the night for the Titans. No touchdowns on the evening. Some notable individual statistics. You had Ellsworth with a team-high 10 rushes for 36 of the Titans' 65 total rushing yards. The combination of Mahoney and Ellsworth had a total of 80 yards passing. 63 of them came courtesy of Will Mahoney. He was 8 of 15. That means he completed 53% of his passes for 63 of the 80 yards passing. We had 5 different receivers get into the mix for Algonquin, and you had Patrick Hanlon with a team-high 24 yards receiving on 2 receptions on the night. Now, if we take a look at Leominster's side of the ball, we will take a look at individual notable statistics. Mackay Stinson Newton, 8 rushes for 24 yards. Braden Martin, 3 rushes for 23 yards. Xavier Cora, 8 rushes for 69 yards. Encarnacion had 1 rush, but it was for 81 yards. And then Lopez had 4 rushes for 83 of Leominster's 271 yards of rushing offense. Lopez, out of the quarterback position, 11 of 16 passing for 119 total yards. He made completions to 5 separate receivers. Caden Drinkwater had a team-high 5 receptions for 82 yards. Encarnacion, 3 receptions for 22 yards himself. But we know he was the all-everything on the night on offense, defense, and special teams this evening. If we take a look at the scoring opportunities for Leominster, in the first quarter, Leominster scores twice. First, an 81-yard touchdown rush by Encarnacion. Extra point there was no good. Then later in the first, it was a 64-yard touchdown rush on the quarterback keeper by Osiris Lopez. 2-point conversion was good in that instance. That put Leominster up 14-0. Then in the second quarter, a 9-yard touchdown reception to Jared Viola, plus the extra point, put Leominster up 21-0 at the half. In the third quarter, Leominster struck again, a 10-yard reception to Ricky Encarnacion, put Leominster up 28-0. And then rounding out the scoring drives in the fourth quarter, Caden Drinkwater, the freshman, had a 35-yard touchdown reception. Extra point there, no good. 34-0 is going to be your final Leominster over Algonquin in this one, Billy and Todd.
For sure, Kate. Thank you so much on that one. And the stats just bear it out, Bill Thomas. I mean, you heard the joy here. The revenge tour is on the way and is moving 6 weeks into to this season thus far. And, I mean, tonight, Leominster, they did it, and they did it authoritatively here.
Where'd you get the idea the revenge tour was in full force?
That was Josh Cormier.
That come from Josh Cormier?
Indeed it did.
Well, because players have memories, and I'm sure he was on that team last year that got whitewashed by Algonquin. And, you know, taking numbers and making amends in their own hearts this year. You know, they have a good team, so might as well hand out some payback because, you know, Leominster was on that other end. They handing out, you know, beatings left and right for a number of years, and the last couple of years, people have gotten in line.
No question.
And I think it's great now that shoes on the other foot, and some of the Leominster players can appreciate, you know, both sides of that situation.
And the payoff, you heard it from Coach Gates, for the hard work that is done, you know, behind the scenes, in practice, in the off season as well. It's time now to go ahead, Bill Thomas.
I just want to mention, you talk about hard work, Todd.
Sure.
But it's not just 1 or 2, 3, 4 players that put in hard work. I mean, every game there's not just one player that seems to be stepping up. 3 or 4 different players every game that we're calling numbers. We're looking on the chart. Who's this? So, you know, Coach Gates is spot on when he says the players that put in the work. But it's not just the glamour players, the star players. I think top to bottom, player 1 to player 60, or however big this right, they've all put in the work.
Yeah, team effort from top to bottom, to say the least. Time now to acknowledge the standout performance of the game, as Kate, Bill, and I will award our game balls to the student-athlete performances that changed the fortunes for their respective teams. And, of course, one of the things I get to do is decide who gets to give out the first game ball, because tonight they've got a really, really easy job. Kate, you get to award tonight's first game ball.
Ricky.
Are we using first names or numbers?
I was going to say, he is all of a sudden, he is zero, he is Ricky Encarnacion.
Zero in your program, number one in your heart, Ricky Encarnacion. He just goes by Ricky. It's like Cher. Ricky.
No question about that. Bill Thomas, your game ball?
Well, there's no question that Ricky Zero Encarnacion just had a game of a lifetime, after missing last week. But I'd be remiss not to mention Josh Cormier again and again and again. So let's give out an all-purpose game ball and a defensive game ball. And I'm going to side with the defensive game ball. And Josh Cormier just came to play. He mentioned it. He couldn't do it by himself, but when he had the opportunity, he took full advantage of it. And, whatever the defense allowed Josh to do, freelance and make those tackles, he definitely got recognized for it tonight. So I'm going to not slight Ricky, but I'm going to slide over to the defensive side and give Josh Cormier my defensive game ball along with the help from his his defensive front four who opened those gaps for him to make those plays.
That's why we hand out the game balls. We get a chance to recognize multiple.
You're going to go somewhere else, aren't you, Todd?
I got to. I hate being duplicative in the process. But before I hand out my game ball, I want to hit on a point that you mentioned. Because somebody like Josh Cormier has this big night tonight. And the thing that stands out to me is he gets up here and he gets an opportunity to talk to us. First time ever. Gets a chance to come up here and talk to us. We ask him about his performance tonight, and the first thing he does is turn the spotlight and give it to somebody else. Talk about playing selflessly. Just an incredibly mature thing to do, and talks about that top to bottom, like you said, performance, total team effort, but total team buy-in across the board.
And I think that comes from being one of the senior team leaders, and he's making his presence felt on the field, most likely in the locker room and on practice days. And, we've said it time and time again. You can't just show up at a game, no matter what discipline, if it's baseball, basketball, football, or tiddlywinks, and expect to perform on game day. You got to perform in the locker room. You got to perform on practice days, and then you bring that to the game. And usually what you do in practice gets you advanced recognition when it comes to game days. Get your name called, get your number called more, get you more involved. So it's not just about what you're doing on game day, and what we're seeing from Josh Cormier and the rest of the Blue Devils offensively and defensively is they're ready to play on game day. And, last week was a bump in the road. They were ready to play last week. Things just didn't go their way, and that'll happen. But this great bounce-back game tonight, and they really showed that they're well-coached, well-centered and grounded, and they played within themselves tonight. And I think the way they performed tonight is what we would come to expect. But at the high school level, you never know how kids are going to respond to a game like last week or how they responded after the first 4 games when they were just blowing everybody away. So it was nice to see this bounce-back game tonight, and they really put it on the field. And I think it sets them up really nicely confidence-wise for the game against Wachusett next week.
And their belief in playing for one another, and that is
and I think
total team effort.
Did Josh mention some history with Wachusett, too? I think
he
knows
they're
how
part
good
of the
they are.
revenge tour.
They're well aware.
You could publish the whole schedule on the T-shirt. It's like concert dates, just one right after another after another. And
he's been on a few of those teams that have, taken another chin against Wachusett. So, I don't know what the history is, and probably Wachusett's had their number the last few years, but starts out 0-0 with 48 minutes to play next Friday night, and I'm sure we're going to have a whale of a ball game.
The tour date returns right here to Doyle Field. I'm going to give my game ball to Steve Diaz, the other half of the birthday combination tonight. 2 interceptions on the night, and defensively he flew around to the football as well and threw a catch in there on the offensive side as well. So a good night tonight for Steve Diaz, getting my game ball tonight. And now the signature piece of this postgame as we take a final whip around the region. Kate Robbins has got the final scoreboard on the region's most comprehensive final scoreboard tonight as we take one last look around this Week 6 Friday night action, Kate.
All right, we're actually going to take a quick stop at the Wachusett-Shepherd Hill game because, boy, did this one get interesting after halftime. So going into the half, it was 40-0, Wachusett on top of Shepherd Hill. Coach Dubzinski brings in his second teamers, and what does Shepherd Hill do? They immediately score 24 points in the third quarter. All of a sudden, Coach Dubzinski has to bring in all of his starters, and finally, Wachusett able to, I'm going to say squeak out a victory, not really. They win 61-30. The final score, Wachusett over Shepherd Hill. But the entire third quarter, second teamers in for Wachusett, they give up 24 points to Shepherd Hill in the third quarter. What a roller coaster ride it was out in Holden tonight. I'll let you guys talk about that before I continue my whip around the region.
91 combined offensive points in that football game, and having to bring your now cold starters back into a football game, Bill
But
Thomas.
then they score 21 points in the fourth quarter.
I mean,
what kind of machine are they running over there?
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, that's a product of the power rankings. You're close to falling below that 14-point win. Now they had a 40-point lead. Now all of a sudden it's down to 16. One more score. Now that hurts that 14-plus on the rankings. So got to bring back the stars. You got to do what you got to do. But you never expect to give up 24 quick ones when you're ahead by 40. And all of a sudden now your margin of victory is in danger. But Wachusett did what they had to do.
Indeed, yet another point as to why this playoff calculation it needs to be revisited, to say the least. Kate, you've got more scores from around the region tonight.
I certainly do. Let's take a look at another one of Leominster's upcoming opponents. Shrewsbury was taking on undefeated Division 4 Grafton. So remember, Shrewsbury Division 1, Grafton Division 4, but Grafton has always had a formidable program. They are 5-0 in D4. This one went back and forth. Shrewsbury was up 6-0 in the second. Then all of a sudden you got to the fourth quarter. Shrewsbury went down 7-6 to Grafton. Then they got another touchdown. They went up 12-7. The final in this one, Grafton able to squeak out the victory, 13-12 the final. Division 4 Grafton over Shrewsbury. That's going to be absolutely detrimental to Shrewsbury's average, their total average, only because Grafton, yes, a formidable program, but it's a Division 4 program. Their opponent points, that could hurt them in the long run.
Indeed, it could, and certainly going to affect the numbers as we jockey our way forward in the weeks ahead.
All right, and another interesting one, Neshoba and Marlborough were tied at 7 at the end of regulation. Neshoba able to squeak out the victory, 15-13. Neshoba, a victor over Marlborough, the final in that one. If we take a look at the remaining games around the region, we had to highlight those first couple because they were just too good not to go through quickly. Okay, we take a look. BC High, a victor over St. John's of Shrewsbury, 35-15, your final there. Quabog, 42, Abbey Kelly, 6. Quabog, a victor there. Northbridge takes on Valley Tech, 41-7, your final. Northbridge over Valley Tech. Assabet Valley, we have a fourth quarter score, 32-21 was the fourth quarter score. Assabet on top of Bay Path. We've got a third quarter score in the Monty Tech St. Paul game. Monty Tech on top of St. Paul, 26-18 at the end of 3. We take a look. Maynard, a victor over North Middlesex tonight, 39-13, your final there. West Boylston, a victor over Oxford. Both of those teams were undefeated going into this one. West Boylston, 51-15. West Boylston over Oxford, your final there. The final out at Air Shirley. Air Shirley, a victor, 34-0. Air Shirley over Narragansett tonight. Hudson beat Tantascwa, 42-28, your final there. Clinton is up 43-34 in the fourth quarter. And I do know, obviously, those are our football around the regions. I do want to give you a very exciting update on the Leominster Linksters out of the golf world. Leominster, LHS Golf, Midland, Wachusett B tournament champs today at Northern Spy. 3 different Blue Devils shot in the 70s today. Luke Grebinaire shoots the day's best. He shoots a 71. Todd, you should envy all these numbers.
I do.
Dan Simmons shoots a 72. Colby Gilsonet shoots a 79. Nico Lapoya shoots an 89 for the Blue Devils. Those were the 4 scores. So 3 Blue Devils in the 70s. They are Wachusett Mid-Watch B tournament champions today. Coach Robichaud, a very proud coach for the Linksters of Leominster.
Indeed, he should be. See, I told you, most comprehensive scoreboard in the region. Yeah, that's Kate, as she aggregates the internet. Kate, as always, great job back in Studio P at HQ. Appreciate all of your help tonight. It is time for those 3 very important things for Patrick. That is the book, bottle, and bed, which is where we head next.
Night, Dad.
Good night. We'll see you in a little bit. As we finish up here post-game on RFM Audio, our post-game extra continues to roll on here, Bill Thomas, and we have arrived at that point in the night, and that is, of course, to answer the most important question. What's next? We've got your viewing covered, along with our partners throughout the weekend. Listening, viewing, you pick your medium. Encore presentations of tonight's broadcast are going to be available all weekend long, starting over the air tomorrow, Saturday at noon, via our partners at 95.1 FM, WLPZ, and WLPZ.org. Streaming free via live365.com. Search WLPZ LP 95.1 on Live 365. Then Sunday, you got another encore presentation with Tucka 56 Radio and Tucka56Radio.com Sunday at noon. Tucka56Radio.com and Live 365 search Tucka 56 Radio. Leominster TV's got game replays throughout the weekend and on into next week. And then it's the Coach's Corner, an all-new episode with Leominster High School head coach Devin Gates. Comes your way Monday, 9 p.m. These same RFM platforms, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Wednesdays, Coach's Corner is on at 8 p.m. on Tucka 56 Radio and on WLPZ 95.1 FM, 5 p.m. on Thursdays for the Coach's Corner with the breakdown, analysis, and preview of upcoming action. You can check your listings for additional times. And, of course, our next game, it is that Central Mass grudge match as Leominster hosts Wachusett on senior night and homecoming night. What is sure to be a slam-packed night here at Doyle Field. Get here early as Leominster gets ready to battle Wachusett. Both teams, Bill Thomas, will be 5-1 taking the turf here at Doyle Field next week.
It's going to be a great matchup, Todd. We know what Tucker McDonald can bring to the table.
UConn-bound
Cyrus
Tucker
Lopez,
McDonald.
still kind of a wild card, early on in his career. Great things up to this point, but it's going to be really the toughest test of his early varsity football career. Up to this point, he's been tested, but he's had most things go his way. Yeah, Peabody was a bump in the road, but Wachusett year in and year out, get used to this game because you're going to be here another 3 years, and this is a game that you'll be penciling in. And no better time to get off on the right foot than the first year you face them. But it's going to be a tall task. It could come down to who possesses the ball last, I'm going to guess, next week.
And Leominster gave up some size on the line tonight, and their line did a great job controlling on both sides of the football the action at the point of attack. They are going to give up double that size next week to a Wachusett line that is very formidable physically.
Well, and if the coaches, and I'm sure that this is a no-brainer, watched any of the game against Peabody, they're going to know that the key to getting Lopez rattled is get him off his spot. And if you can overpower the offensive line and get the bull rush in there and get Lopez moving, then he makes some questionable decisions. But up to this point, he's made mostly all the right decisions and a lot of help from his friends, especially his senior friends. And no bigger helper than Ricky Encarnacion, and he showed that tonight. And I'm sure he'll be a force next week, but it's going to take more than one or two players to beat a formidable Wachusett Mountaineers team. But I'm expecting a great game. Could be considered the game of the week next week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we will have that game of the week for you right here on these same RFM audio platforms, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Hook or by crook, we're going to find a way onto those platforms. Our partners at Leominster TV will join us live as well. So our countdown to kickoff next Friday night begins at 6 o'clock on these same RFM audio platforms. Leominster TV joins us on Comcast, Verizon, and Leominster.tv at 6:30 next Friday night, and that'll be right in time for what is going to be a pre-game festivity bonanza out here as you have got senior night and homecoming all coming on the same night here at Doyle Field, so you're going to want to be a part of that one. We'll have that action for you leading right up to the play-by-play kickoff at 7 o'clock for Leominster and Wachusett, a battle of 5-1 teams and a battle of two teams that both hope for their playoff lives in Division I for Wachusett and Division II for Leominster want this football game next Friday night. We'll have it all for you from start to finish right here on RFM Audio, Leominster TV, and with our partners, 95.1 FM WLPZ will join us in delay next Saturday at noon, and then Tucka 56 Radio and Tucka56Radio.com also noon next Sunday for the Leominster Wachusett replay. That's it. That's your listening schedule from here to next week. We want to thank our great partners at Leominster TV, WLPZ, and Tucka 56 Radio for another great week of action, and we look forward to being with them again next week. 34-0. Leominster pitches their third shutout on the season to improve to 5-1 in the 2022 campaign. For Kate Robbins back at RFM headquarters, Bill Thomas here aside me once again. I am Todd Robbins saying thank you so very much for joining us. And until next week, so long, everybody.
Tradition, legacy, history. These words all describe a player, coach, or contributor's impact on a game, program, or generation. Each week this season, student athletes of this generation will square off with the goal of best representing their community today or for years to come.
Neil O'Connor finds Jake Elaine.
Alan Glennie quarterbacks his ball club.
Delakey's in the end zone.
And calling signals, Dave Palazzi.
John Ulecki.
Warren Muir.
LeQueer.
Jack Rodequins.
Bobby Mativier.
Jason Toomley.
Devin Gates.
Quentin Tiggs.
Cortez Ludden.
Lee Geronimo.
Stephanides.
Sean Dupuis.
McDonald.
Graham.
Quentin Perkins. Geraldo Rivera. Gray makes the catch in the end zone for the touchdown.
Who will have their name weaved among the tapestry of legends? Who can add their name among the football greatest in Central Massachusetts? You'll find out right here on RFM, continuing a legacy and tradition of audio excellence established by generations of great play-by-play teams gone before.
Yours truly, Tom Connery, Dave Spence, and Warren Muir.
This is Joe White. With me this morning is Dickey and Ron Lamont.
Ed Coleman along with Joe DeCarolis and Mark Landon.
This is Dave Clark along with Mike Flynn.
I'm Dave Spence along with my partner Luke Connery.
Todd Robbins alongside Ben Parker.
Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have you along with us.
Stories told through the words spun by legends. The stories continue to be described by the award-winning team of today. It's time for high school football with the award-winning team of Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, and Kate Robbins.